Oh, hello! Sorry, I was talking without my mic on. Hi Kimono, hi Gray, how are you guys? You made it! Do you let me know how the audio is? Can you hear me? Can you hear the game? Your mic is quiet, game is loud. I think it's your mic. Okay. I can fix that. How's that? Is that better? Can you hear me better now? I yoinked the mic closer to me, but if it's... Yeah, game is loud? Okay, I can fix that. Is that better? Or do you want it quieter? I'm out of breath, oh no! Were you running? A little quieter than Higurashi or Higurashi, very loud. Okay. How's that? They do be chirping. Is that better? Maybe a little quieter? Oh, okay. How's that? I can also up my gain for the mic if I have to. Do you think that would be better? I can't even tell that it's changing. Okay. Here, how's that? I've lowered it even more. Is it the exact same volume? Really? Huh. How strange. Okay, in that case... Is that better? I upped my gain a little bit, so I should be a little louder now. Is that better? Not really. Alright, down the Higurashi volume goes. Maybe if we start, it'll be less loud. That's true. That's true. I'll go in there and we can see then. Can you hear the music? Yeah, okay. Is it okay? It's still loud? No way. I don't even see it moving on the thing. How's that? Is that better? I don't even see it moving on my audio thing anymore. RCDU talkie is 3 times louder. Are you... Really? Wait, that's so crazy. It's never done this before. Oh wait, it's never happened. I'm gonna refresh. Maybe it's a Twitch issue? Yeah, maybe. That's very strange. Because I can't see the music bar moving at all. I refresh it, it's the same. Really? Okay, how about now? It's super low now. I think that's fine? Okay. Let me know if it gets weird, and I'll see if I can fix it. Dev got quieter first time I heard it change. Okay. Hanyuu has already grown used to being around us. Since Rika-chan and Satoko are her age, she's become especially close with them. Of course, Rena and Mion are looking after her too. Rena told me something the day Hanyuu joined the class. She said that Hanyuu's been close to us for a long time, and that she's been watching us play. That she always wanted to join us. I still can't remember seeing her before. But somehow, I can believe it. Hanyuu has accepted all the things that surprised me at first as if she knew about them all along. She knows everything about us, and it seems she's truly excited about finally being able to join in.
Hanyuu's definitely part of our group now.
She sure is. It almost feels like she's been one of us this whole time. That can't be true, though.
No, it is. She's been by our side all this time.
Huh? Are you saying that now too? Rena told me that a couple days ago. Is it just that I didn't notice?
It's because you're dense, Keiichi. Meep.
Fine. So what if I'm dense? Oh. Why are you two sitting down? Are you tired?
You never feel tired, Hanyuu. Meanwhile, we're exhausted.
It's because I've waited so long to be able to play with you all. This isn't nearly enough. I want to play more and more. Oh. You're full of energy. By the way, those things on your head, don't they fall off when you play? Oh. Hanyuu has horns on her head. I thought that it was a hair accessory of sorts, so I didn't want her to lose it while playing. I was going to offer to hold it for her while she ran around. But Hanyuu's face clouded over, and she apologetically held onto the horns.
Keiichi, Hanyuu can't take them off.
Eh? I see. Sorry about that. Oh. Is it strange to have horns?
No, not at all. I think it's cute.
Yeah, Kei-chan even has a horn between his legs, don't you? Hanyuu puts the oni in onikakushi. She does. Though it's hard and Kurt's back. What?
What kind of horn is between his legs? What kind?
No, Rena, no.
Rena-san's punch is still the one thing I can't follow. Are you quite alright, Mion-san? There's a depression in your face.
Everyone laughed except Hanyuu, who didn't seem to get it. I shouldn't have said anything. I bet she doesn't like to talk about her horns. But if I try to apologize, I think things will get even more complicated. As I thought about what to say, Rena took the girls over to the shrine gate.
Don't worry about it, Keiichi. Hanyuu tries not to let it bother her, but she hasn't had enough training. Meep.
So she doesn't like to talk about them, huh? Sorry, I'll be more careful.
Hanyuu came to Hinamizawa a very long time ago.
She did? No wonder she knows so much about the village.
I don't know where she lived before she came here. I asked her once, but all she said was it was a place I wouldn't understand. Hanyuu said that she, or rather, Hanyuu's people couldn't live there anymore. They looked for a new place to live for a long time. They traveled a very long way before arriving in Hinamizawa. There was a beautiful swamp in the area, and that was exactly what Hanyuu's people were looking for. But there was a village nearby where people lived. To show respect to the original inhabitants of an area was law among wandering people like Hanyuu's. Her clan decided to live peacefully and coexist with the villagers. Music is back to being loud. Oh, okay, yeah. How is that? Like, if I wasn't reading along, I definitely couldn't hear. Really? That's so strange. This
never happened before. There's no change? Really? Okay, wait, let me... Oh my gosh, it's because my desktop audio was on. Wait. How's that? How did my desktop audio turn on? That's always off. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry about that. Is that better? We can adjust it from here. Now it's very quiet. Okay. How about now? Let me turn the sound back up. Here. How's that? Is that better? I've put it back to where I usually keep it. But sometimes I do need to adjust for other games, so... Let me know. Is it better? That's good? Okay. Perfect. Oh my gosh.
Her clan decided to live peacefully and coexist with the villagers. However, their attempts to coexist didn't go so well. The villagers were too childish and immature to accept these newcomers. They strongly rejected them and caused a terrible, tragic disaster. Hanyuu said she took their form and descended upon this land in order to subdue the disaster. However, she just couldn't hide her horns. The forbidden ancient documents say that Hanyuu descended into the Furude Shrine, appearing as she does today. It also states the following: Hanyuu's people can't live anywhere other than this village.
Why did OBS disconnect? Excuse me? Okay, we're back? Question mark? Why all the scuff today of all days? Please, OBS. You can't be doing this to me. Are we back? Are we back? Hello? I think we're back, baby.
They can also only live by coexisting with the villagers. The Furude Shrine's priest once rejected them, claiming that coexistence was impossible if mixing with the wandering people's blood caused the villagers to become demons.
World doesn't want us to continue story time? I know, this is crazy! Bitrate, get back here! Ah! Excuse me? Oh my gosh.
But the young heir of the Furude Shrine fell in love with Hanyuu, and when their child was born, the priest had to reconsider.
Hanyuu's a mom?
O wandering people who cannot hide your horns, if you wish to settle in this land, if you wish to settle with our blood, then I shall consider granting your wish.
However, as the demon's blood mixed with the villagers, it became hard to tell who was human and who was demon.
Bitrate, stay strong. Real. I think it's back right now, though.
The villagers began to cast suspicion on one another, haunted by that paranoia. Unless all of that was resolved, coexistence would be impossible.
For you and us to coexist, we must lay down several laws for us to follow. They'll be very strict. I'm very, very sorry for imposing these upon you who have lived in peace until now. However, as long as those rules are followed, the village will be free from demonic disaster. Very well, the rules will be followed. But much blood has already been shed in the village. The anger, sins, and corruption people bear cannot be cleansed. The one law of the human world is that sins are atoned for with life. I see. If you say it's your way to let someone take all the responsibility and bury their sins with them, then we'll do that. However, wouldn't people end up pushing responsibility on each other because nobody wants to die? Exactly. That's the ugly demon in the world of man. No one will accept their own sins, but only foist them onto each other. Since they can only clear the balance with their lives, everyone refuses to pay, and the sins just keep adding up. Without cleansing them, they stagnate, and people cast them upon each other forever, doubting each other and passing them around.
I see. If that's the unopposable law of this world, and you yourselves are troubled by this law, then in exchange for coexisting with us, I shall grant you a world where people do not blame their sins on each other. What kind of world is it?
Wait, what? Who was that? What? Yeah, what? That was Hanyuu for both. Okay.
So long as mankind exists, they will commit sins and give rise to corruption. How could that all be erased without foisting it onto someone else?
Let me bear all the sins and corruption born from man, and purify my soul. Let all sins rest not with man. If they are borne upon myself, then man will not need to force them on each other.
What are you saying? Are you really going to make yourself into a sacrifice?
Someone has to take on the sins, otherwise they won't be cleansed. That's the law of your world, isn't it?
A different ancient document also states the following. Of course, it's a forbidden one too. Only the head of the Furude family is allowed to read it, nobody else. Not even the other heads of the 3 families. I know, bitrate is so evil. It tells that unrest grew in people's minds, that the villagers' evil hearts collected in the swamp and gave rise to demons. The Furude Shrine's priest explained that the root of all evil is the demon god of the swamp, and led the young villagers there. By the swamp, they found a demon mocking the unrest in people's hearts. The young villagers fought bravely, captured the demon, and dragged it to the Furude Shrine. The priest cleansed the demon god, opened her abdomen, and dragged out her organs. He chopped them up and washed them down the stream, then threw the body in the swamp. Then people regained their sanity. Those who had been suspicious of each other became friendly, and they all shared in the joy of peace again. If these forbidden ancient documents are real, then the object of the villagers' worship, Oyashiro-sama, was captured by the villagers, forced to bear all their sins and torn to death. Plus, it's clearly written that the demons appeared after unrest grew in people's hearts. In other words, the demons were forced to bear the sin of discord that rested with man long before they arrived. Oyashiro-sama was a god who took on people's sins to mend conflicts between them. People eventually came to honor her, and it's said that that became the foundation of faith in Oyashiro-sama. I don't understand exactly what that means, but I know one thing. When none of us humans would draw the losing straw, she offered to draw it in our stead. To prove it, we cleanse our filth by letting cotton absorb it and drift it down the stream during the Watanagashi festival. There's no shame or shifting of responsibility involved. Until that system was created, we were simply demons who pushed our filth and our responsibility on each other. We could only cleanse our own sins by blaming someone else and sacrificing him by cutting open his abdomen. And Hanyuu took on that job. A purification ceremony without a human life. A system that forgives people for their sins. It's hard to tell because of bitrate, but did they just kill Hanyuu? I think they did. And sorry about the bitrate, it doesn't look like it's getting better, and I don't know what to do about it! Grr. A system that forgives people for their sins. That is the origin of the cult of Oyashiro-sama, which blames not people for their sins, but the curse. Those documents were sealed away. If they weren't, people would find out that the object of their own faith was falsely blamed and killed by their own ancestors. Hanyuu apologizes. She takes in people's sins and keeps apologizing. When people can't deal with their own sins anymore, she accepts them. When Hanyuu takes over, people are cleansed and they're allowed to keep living. Demons take on sins by becoming cotton to absorb them. They're exterminated and washed down the stream, and then the village is forgiven. They're forgiven for their sins. If that's all true, then Hanyuu, or rather, Oyashiro-sama, is such a tragic existence. I've asked Hanyuu about this before. Then she told me the following story. 4 people are stuck in a snowy mountain cabin. They play a game where each sit in one of the 4 corners. It's a fairly well-known story. It's in the middle of winter. They're all getting sleepy. If they fall asleep, they'll die. So one of them comes up with an idea. They're sitting in the 4 corners of the room, so someone just has to walk clockwise to the next corner and wake up the person sitting in that corner. The one who just walked will sit in that corner, and the one who just woke up will get up, walk to the next corner, and wake up the person sitting there. If they keep doing that, nobody will fall asleep. People who know this story won't need an explanation, but this doesn't work with 4 people. When the first person gets up, their corner becomes empty. So after everyone takes turns, the 4th person goes to the next corner, which is an empty one. They sit down and fall asleep, so the game is over right there and everyone freezes to death. In other words, to play this game, you need more than 4 people. You need 1 more person in order to be saved. People usually tell this as a ghost story. They usually say that this was actually a group of 5 people, but 1 was already dead, and thanks to that ghost, they're able to continue living until the next morning. Hanyuu once told me that she's like that 5th person. If she can make everything run smoothly by joining a circle of people, then it's very similar to how the telephone game in the mountain cabin manages to function without breaking. Hanyuu can complete a circle that can't be realized by people alone. Then those people can live peacefully. She's an existence that completes a circle. Is she bothered by your horns because it reminds her of the time when she was called a demon and punished for the sins she took in? Is her subconscious still tormenting her with thoughts that those who have horns ought to be persecuted? She was born with those horns. She was hated and abused because of them.
Really? I definitely shouldn't have said anything, huh?
And just because she has those horns, she had to take in everyone's sins and cleanse them. She did that, and then she was worshipped as a god.
Huh? A god?
I was talking to myself. Forget about it.
Huh?
Nobody knows who Hanyuu really is. Is she really a divine existence that descended from a higher place? Or is she simply an unlucky girl who became a sacrifice just because she had a pair of horns? Nobody knows. But this girl's blood was blended with the Furude family's blood, and that blood has descended into me. Our legend states that if the Furude family has a girl for their firstborn child for 8 generations in a row, that 8th child will be a reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm that 8th generation. Is that why I was the only person who could see Hanyuu? 8 generations is a very long time. Maybe that's how long it took for all the sins Hanyuu assumed to be cleared. 8 represents infinity. It's a very lucky number. Often curses uttered will contain, "I'll curse you for 7 generations," but the 8th lies beyond that. In other words, 8 possesses such good fortune that it can forgive great curses and sins that span 7 generations. It's a number with power. It's the time Hanyuu needed to cleanse all the sins she took in from the humans. Hanyuu and her people simply wanted to coexist with us, but Hanyuu had to become a sacrifice. Her stomach was cut open and its contents washed down the stream. Then she was thrown into the swamp. And so, the Furude family has been waiting. They waited for a very long time for her to come back. They kept our traditions alive, waiting forever and ever for her return. According to legend, the name Furude was made by adding a horn to the character for fortune teller. The Furude family rose when Hanyuu's bloodline was combined with that of human beings. Hanyuu is the ancestor of the Furude family, as well as the mother of us all. When I was little, Hanyuu taught me more things than my mother did. It's no wonder. I'm her descendant. The curse on the clan who exorcised and buried their very own mother was finally absolved after 8 generations, what seemed like eternity. And then she met me, her descendant, the final generation of the Furude family. Sometimes, when I think about that, I feel like there must be some important meaning to this hapless fate thrust upon me. But what kind of meaning could the trial I face, the trial of breaking through the obstacles sealing my fate, have upon the curse that plagued Hanyuu and the Furude family for over a millennium? 1,000 years is simply too long a period to communicate thoughts and intentions correctly. Hanyuu has become the curse we call Oyashiro-sama. Though she originally was a means of salvation, she's become a chain that binds people. The rules about coexisting were misinterpreted as a law that binds villagers to their place, and that continued until the Meiji era. And while the village winds once again blow toward the misunderstanding of isolation thanks to the dam conflict, how does that play into my meeting with Hanyuu and this motley fate we're trapped in? I haven't lived long enough to be able to understand that. The only thing I can say for sure is that the Furude family originated when Hanyuu's bloodline mixed with that of humans, and the line's final descent, me, finally met with its ancestor. The Furude bloodline bears a cursed history of placing all of man's sins onto its mother and killing her. Now, the beginning of that end of that line have met. Hanyuu always wanted to join everyone, yet she couldn't hide her horns. Even so, she still wished to be an existence that completes a circle.
It's a child's job to bury their parents.
But Mother,
I've never heard that it's a child's job to kill and bury their parents. Go read a book, no internet for you. She's not on stream, so hopefully that helps? I don't know. Don't ask, child. I'm not human. My horns are proof that I'm a demon. A demon's job is to take on the calamities of the human world. Bearing the calamities of this chaotic world and cleansing the unrest in mankind's hearts is my role.
Then Mother, why do you have to be the one?
Thank you for the alert, Kimono. Have a good one. People's sins are people's sins.
Oh, people's sins are people's sins. They aren't yours.
Listen, child. People live with their sins. They can't live without making someone else take the blame. Nobody wants to take the blame, so they shift that responsibility around. That is a demon, the true demon disrupting the world of man. By bearing it myself, man may be cleansed, and mankind can be freed from their destiny of doubt and conflict. Let all the sins, the filth, the karma, and the curse come to me. Then attack me, purify me, wash me down the stream, and throw me in the swamp. A human will not do, so it is the fate of one not human to accept that role. If a human were to bear it, then mankind would not be freed from the demon of doubt.
I don't understand. I don't understand, Mother. Mother, you have horns. Are you saying that you aren't a human just because you have horns? That even if you are human, the horns make you non-human? Even if you have horns, you're human to me.
My child, you're the only one who's ever said that. Even if everyone else calls me, or you still call me human. What is passed down in the Furude's many forbidden scrolls, the ones unknown to even the heads of the three families, sealed in the altar in the shrine storage. Oh, what is? Like a question. Ooh. Understanding that would probably require about as much time as I've spent repeating time. Yet, once you understand that, perhaps you'll better understand the smile Hanyuu wears as she innocently plays with everyone.
Ah! Are you okay?
I heard Mion yell in surprise. Something must have happened. What is it? What's going on?
Hanyuu-san tripped and tumbled down the hill over there. Hanyuu-chan, are you okay?
She rolled beautifully, but I hope she didn't sprain her ankle or anything. Let's go look. Hanyuu had been playing on the slope and tumbled down it. There's a road just below the slope. Mion and the others went down the stairs to get to her. Let's go. I hope she isn't injured. Huh? Wait, okay, I assume the one that's talking is Rika, but who is she talking to? What? When I got there, I saw Tomitake-san and Takano-san. They were taking care of her. What happened? We just saw her roll down the hill.
She did tumble beautifully, though. But I think she hit her head, so I'm sure she'll get a bump later. Make sure you put some ice on it, okay?
Hanyuu! Hanyuu! Can you hear us? Look, how many fingers do you see?
Oh.
She sounded disoriented, but didn't appear to be injured. What a relief for everyone. I bet she's just feeling dizzy from rolling. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you're not hurt.
Just think, though. How lucky of you to have a nurse waiting for you down here. What perfect timing. Well, when I'm not working, I'm a wild bird photographer. Right, Jiro-san? Well, yeah, I guess. A Hinamizawa kid would never get hurt from something like that. In other words, you're already one of us, Hanyuu. Hanyuu-chan, is that your name? I've never seen you before. Are you new around here?
Yes, she is. She transferred in just last Monday.
What are these? How peculiar. Are they some kind of toy?
Takano-san tried to poke at one of Hanyuu's horns. They'd be an interesting hair accessory, if they were an accessory. That's what's cute about Hanyuu-chan. Please don't touch them, though.
Oh, is that so? I don't think they're that cute, though. Girl! After all, they look just like a monster. Don't they? Suddenly, Hanyuu moaned as if suffocating. Says I know, how rude!
Takano, Hanyuu isn't a monster. Don't ever say that again.
That's right, Takano-san. That was mean. Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. Rika-chan said it rather firmly. I'm sure Hanyuu doesn't want to hear that word. Sometimes Takano-san says things in a derogatory way without realizing it herself. But I guess there are things you can't or shouldn't say. Didn't mean to be rude? Sure, buddy. I know, that's crazy. She knew what she was saying. Also, who the heck is talking? They said Rika-chan. I'm so confused. Hanyuu was looking at Takano-san with a complicated look on her face. After seeing that expression, Takano-san realized that she might have hurt her feelings. She apologized and left with Tomitake-san.
Are you okay, Hanyuu? You landed beautifully too, so you're not injured.
That person. Oh.
Her? That's Takano.
Takano.
Hanyuu repeated Takano-san's name. All of a sudden, I grew worried that she hit her head or something. Hanyuu stood straight up and grabbed Rika-chan's collar.
Rika! Oh! It's Takano! Takano!
That's right. She's Takano.
No! Rika! Takano! Don't you remember?
I know. Mio Takano, right?
We got lobotomy duck taco, no thanks. That's crazy.
From the EDA clinic.
Oh, can't remember?
Sorry, Hanyuu. What are you talking about?
Rika, this can't be. This is the last one. The last one. She finally imprinted herself with the true enemy's name while enduring the pain of her stomach being cut open. Yet she can't remember. Rika Furude has failed to inherit the memory of the fragments. Wait, what? Did we fail? Wait a minute. What? Oh, they're cooked. What? Wait, I'm so confused.
Wait, we're just continuing? What's going on?
Oh, Akasaka-san. Long time no see.
Oh, Ishii-san, you haven't changed a bit.
What are you saying? I've been on an apple diet lately and I've lost a few pounds. Can't you tell? But just look at you. You look great.
Well, I have to stay in shape for my job.
Hey, Kura-chan, is this the guy? The one who came here a few years ago from Tokyo?
Nice to see you again too, Hondaya-san. It's been a while.
My, look at you. Must be nice to be so young. Well, since you came such a long way, let's just head to a restaurant. I'm a regular there, so I'm sure we can get in before it opens. Come on.
Oh, Ishii-san, are you sure? Don't you still have some work to do?
What? Not at all. I'm on a special training with a mission investigator from Tokyo headquarters. Come on, let's get going. Oh, wait, I've gotta go make a phone call first. They're greenhorns compared to someone like you, but I put some help together for us. Ah, there you are. Kuma-chan, do you want to come play with us tonight?
Oh, Ishii-san, you really haven't changed a bit. Akasaka used to think Oishi wasn't serious enough about work. But after experiencing many different things in the real world, that preconception had completely disappeared. Oishi is that way because of his experience. It's not always best to take things seriously. In this world, sometimes being that frank can help. In Akasaka's case, people often tell him to relax more. But in Oishi's case, maybe he should straighten out a little.
Come on, Akasaka-san, let's go!
Yes, at once.
Yeah, good answer. You sound like a veteran police officer now. Glad to hear it.
The old Akasaka would have thought Oishi was making fun of him, but by now he could take it as an honest assessment.
Boy, you sure can drink now, Akasaka-san. I don't think I can keep up with you. Must be true that when one gets old, he can't drink as much as before.
You're too modest. I'm just better because an intelligence officer has to be able to hold his liquor. I have a budget set aside at all times for training with my young colleagues. Japanese sake, Western liquor, Chinese liquor, whatever. Sometimes I drink at little bars and sometimes at expensive clubs.
That sounds pretty good. I'll have to join you to coach them sometime.
Yes, please come teach us your tricks. Young guys nowadays often talk about how they can't drink. I couldn't drink at all at first, you know. The more you drink, the better your body adjusts to alcohol, and the more you enjoy drinking.
That's right. Are you listening, Kuma-chan?
Yeah, I heard. I can down quite a few now.
No, really, you're right. When you first teamed up with Oishi, you were already drinking oolong tea with the toast.
That's no good. A toast has a very important meaning. If you don't drink any alcohol, you're saying you're not satisfied with the party. So when I see young people like that, I tell them, I'm not saying you have to drink up in one gulp, but your first round has to at least be a medium mug. When Akasaka first came to Okinomiya, he was very nervous. But there was no trace of that tension left in him. Seeing that, Oishi realized just how much Akasaka had learned in the past few years.
There you go, Akasaka-san. Man, you've really grown a lot more dependable. During the years I've been waiting to retire, you've grown up so much. It might be time for the younger generation to take over, huh?
That's not true. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that the only thing that matters is experience. Leave the hard labor and the crime scenes to us young officers, while you veterans take pride at your desks and work us to the bone.
Did you hear that, Kuma-chan? Did you?
Okay, I heard him. I'll give it everything I've got.
Oishi, Kumagai-kun is already giving it everything he's got.
He's diligent about his patrols, to make up for your distaste for them. You know how Oishi-san is, right? I've only worked with him for a few days, but I understand what you're going through. Even so, he'll make you into a good cop. Just believe in him.
Yes, sir.
I'll do my best. But even if I learn how to drink, I can't learn how to be good at mahjong. Oishi-san takes all of my pay before I can give it to my wife. Mahjong is intellectual baggage you need. The more you play, the more confident you get. Let's play together later. I'll teach you how to not lose.
Oishi, he's a good guy, huh? He kinda reminds me of how you were when you were young. That can't be. I wasn't nearly as handsome.
It
It was unusual for Ooishi to enjoy anyone's company this much. Akasaka and Ooishi only worked together for a few days. They'd exchanged some holiday cards since, but that was about it. Ooishi had no idea how happy it would make him to see such a greenhorn grow into a dependable cop. Ooishi always thought he wanted to be active until the day he retired, but after seeing such a dependable colleague, he began to think that maybe it was time for him to step down. Go over mahjong? Fair enough. Ooishi and Akasaka enjoyed their reunion more than they thought they would. The owner of the place was bringing the electric sign inside. All the chairs were up on the tables, and the owner's wife was cleaning the floor. There was nobody else around. Judging by the clock, it was almost 3 a.m. This is a reunion, right, Kura-chan? Take your time, okay? Just wake me up when you leave so I can lock the door. Sorry about this. Thank you. There wouldn't be anything else open at such a late hour. Ooishi and his colleagues still wanted to talk, so they decided to stay. Kumagai couldn't fight his sleepiness and was nodding off. They were talking about Akasaka's job. Akasaka works at a department specializing in public safety. Ooishi and the others were interested in all his stories of danger and bravery. Anyway, I want to meet with Rika Furude. By Rika Furude, you mean the orphaned daughter of the Furude family. Orphaned? What happened to her parents? Rika Furude had predicted that there would be an incident in Hinamizawa every year for the following 5 years. Her parents, according to her, were supposed to be killed on the 3rd year running. Yeah, it was the 3rd year of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. 1981 must have been. The Furude couple died rather suspiciously. It was 3 years after you came to Hinamizawa, Akasaka-san. 3 years? Did it happen in June, 3 years after I visited? Yeah, that's about right. Why? Is there something about it that bothers you? Akasaka shut his eyes tightly to chase away the alcohol in his brain and tried to remember the girl's prediction. He had, after all, come here to confirm it. I came here in 1978. And what about the dam construction site manager? Oh, that's the guy I played mahjong with. How has he been doing? It was in the newspaper, I think. Maybe it was just in the local ones. Well, he was killed in a fight with the other workers that year. Rika Furude had predicted that he would be killed in a gruesome way, that his body would be dismembered. Was he mutilated? See, you know about it already. That's exactly it. His right arm is still missing, too. It's so unfortunate. The following year, on the same day, in June 1980, Satoko's parents will be pushed to their deaths. Maybe it should be called an accident. A lamentable accident. I'll continue. The following year, the year after the manager's death, I think... Let's see. I know. Satoko-san it was. I think she's a little girl. Did her parents die in an accident? Oh, how much do you already know? That's right. The dam supporters, the Hojo couple, fell off a cliff while on vacation, though it still hasn't been confirmed if it was an accident or an incident. And the following year, on the same day, in June 1981, my parents will be killed. And the following year, yes, Rika Furude's parents died, but none of those incidents make sense. You sure know a lot about the curse of Oyashiro-sama. None of those incidents were made public because of pressure from the locals, so I'm surprised at how much you know about them. I can't believe this. But even you can't know about the following year, because starting with the 4th year in a row, we decided to investigate secretly. I think I know about it anyway. And the following year, on the same day, in June 1982, Satoko's mean aunt will die. Her head will be smashed in. The following year, so that was last year, Satoko-san from earlier, wasn't her aunt beaten to death? Crap, you're right. Akasaka-san, how do you know so much? I think I know who'll be killed the year after that. What are you saying? Besides, the year after last year means it's this year. I'll be killed. It'll be in June of 1983. In other words, this month. Rika Furude will be killed. Ooishi and the others were at a loss for words. Akasaka had talked about the 4 mysterious incidents. Although he'd been far away, he belonged to a very special unit of public safety. It could have been possible for him to find out about their secret investigations. That was why it wasn't that odd for Akasaka to mention the series of mysterious deaths, even though he'd been far away from Hinamizawa. However, not only did he know about them, but he also named the next victim. Ooishi and his co-workers had sobered up instantly. Akasaka-san, it's getting late. We're all exhausted, so let me get to the bottom of this. What is it that you're trying to say? Okay. All of this is what she told me when I was in Hinamizawa in June of 1978. What? Ooishi couldn't believe what he was hearing. He was left speechless. I know it's hard to believe. When she told me back then, I thought she was just being a mischievous little girl. But she told me that she was going to be killed in the 5th year running. In other words, she asked me to help her, I think. The main purpose of my visit to Hinamizawa this time is to find her and ask her if she still needs my help. Akasaka-san, I'm retiring this year. I want to take revenge on the people who killed the manager on the 1st year. I'll jump on any lead I can find. So let me just confirm this with you. What you just said isn't a joke, is it? If it is, you'd better tell me right now. I'm telling you the truth. Rika Furude told me this in June 1978. But at the time, I didn't think anything of it, so I didn't tell you about it. I'm very sorry. No, you didn't know. Even if you had told me, I don't think I would have believed you. Only because it happened 4 years in a row do we believe you now. Oh, she must have been thinking that if only Akasaka had told him that back then, he could have saved his friend. But what the old man from forensics just said was right too. She wouldn't have believed him back then. And his friend would have died anyway, and she would have been left with regret at not being able to do anything. That's true. I should be the one apologizing. Still, Rika Furude. Why Rika Furude? I don't know exactly what's going on in Hinamizawa right now. I've read in the papers that the dam construction plan was halted indefinitely. That's why I assumed Hinamizawa was peaceful now. The dam conflict is over, yeah? But starting the following year, these mysterious deaths, known locally as the Curse of Oyashiro-sama, started to occur annually. And it played out just like you said. I think she's entrusted me with something extremely important. Ooishi-san, let me ask you, do you think it's possible for Rika Furude to be killed this year? They say that the Furude couple was held in low regard for being so passive during the dam conflict. That might be the reason why the curse fell upon them in the 3rd year. So I do think that Rika Furude's death... It's possible, isn't it? Ooishi nodded slowly. I'm going to try to get in touch with Rika Furude tomorrow. I think the best thing to do is to talk to her directly. I come with you, Akasaka-san. This story about Rika Furude sounds like something very important for me, too. My. You've come bearing quite the incredible gift. I'm getting a bit intrigued myself. I never thought I'd see the day when all the mysteries were solved. Well, I have some questions, too. For instance, why did she tell me something that important? If she wanted help, why didn't she ask the local police? Why me, a guy on a business trip from Tokyo? I bet she doesn't have faith in the local police. I'm a little unrefined. Rika-san probably doesn't trust me. Besides, there are people with connections to the Sonozaki family at the Okinomiya Police Department. In other words, she trusted me, the guy who came from Tokyo, more than anybody. Yeah, I guess. If that's the case, Ooishi-san, please don't tell anybody else about this. Of course I won't. Anyway, let's head directly to Hinamizawa tomorrow and have a talk with Rika-san. We can start from there.
It's hard to believe, but it's the truth, isn't it?
It was in the middle of the night. Only the sounds of insects and Satoko snoring could be heard. Rika was sitting by her favorite window. Yes, Takano is the one who killed you, Rika. You and I both saw it. You tried so hard to remember Takano's face. Even as she cut your stomach open, you burnt her face into your memory while enduring all that pain.
That's a horrible way to die. Glad I don't remember. I can see it. That's the kind of death Takano would prefer.
Oh.
still, I don't get it. Why would Takano kill me? I'm the queen carrier, and if I die, a disaster will occur, right? Isn't that why the Iria Institute and the Mountain Dogs are protecting me? Then why would Takano, their leader, have me killed?
Oh.
Sorry, that was a useless question. Takano killed me. That's the truth, and her motive doesn't matter, does it? But still, why Takano?
Although she just said that the motive didn't matter, Rika went back to the same question. The reason why Takano was protecting the Queen Carrier wasn't because she wanted to prevent the rest of Hinamizawa from developing the syndrome. It was because the Queen Carrier was an extremely valuable subject of her research. Then, considering that value, why did she kill the Queen Carrier with her own 2 hands?
Is Takano my only enemy?
Oh, the Mountain Dogs are after you too. I don't know if Iria is your enemy or not, but I don't think he is.
Takano and the Mountain Dogs are my enemies? You've gotta be kidding me. How can we possibly win? There's no way. Unless there's a miracle of some kind, we can't fight against people like them. Besides, Watanagashi is this Sunday. I'll be killed on the 22nd. It's in about a week or so, right? How can we beat them in such a short amount of time? Should we try going after Takano with a metal bat? That won't work. She's only one of them. Even if we take her out, the Mountain Dogs will still get us. What do we do? What should we do?
I don't know either. But... we didn't even know our enemy before now. This time, we do. There must be something that we can do. This was the first time in a long time that Hanyuu had spoken so positively. Rika was startled for a moment, and realized that she was losing her cool. She took a deep breath and tried to calm herself down. She was still confused that Takano was the culprit. Rika had always thought of Takano as her ally. There were, after all, many reasons why Takano should treat her well. Rika couldn't even think of one reason why Takano would want to kill her. Still, Takano was always thinking about bizarre things. There was no guarantee that a crazy idea of hers couldn't become a motive.
So that means, if Tomitake is killed, then is he an ally?
I think he is. That's an idea, Rika. You should talk to Tomitake. Takano was accompanied by the Mountain Dogs because of an organization named Tokyo. So could Rika ask for help only from someone affiliated with that organization? In that case, Tomitake was the only one she could talk to about the issue. Although, Iria might also be worth having a talk with. But then, that was why she needed to know. She needed to know why Takano wanted to kill her. Unless she could explain that, they probably wouldn't even believe her. Besides, Tomitake was in love with Takano. He wouldn't doubt her so easily. Iria seemed to be keeping a little distance from Takano. He might be a little more inclined to believe, but as someone who was simply a doctor, he knew little about Tokyo. He might end up being useless to Rika. Then, should she call the police? No way. Definitely no way. There was no way they would believe her. If she were to make a call and say that a strange organization named Tokyo was trying to kill her, they would think she was crazy. Then what could she do? How could she save herself? Might, more like certainly? Yeah, it's tough. The scariest people in Hinamizawa were coming to kill her. How could she run from them? How could she fight them? How? How? If she had remembered the scene of Takano killing her, then she wouldn't have been so confused, because seeing is believing. But she didn't remember. This was just what Hanyuu was telling her. She didn't want Takano to be her enemy. This was a truth she didn't want to accept, so she was tempted to say that this was all simply Hanyuu's delusion. Calm down, Rika. We learned in our past life. Don't you remember the previous world?
The previous world? Do you mean the one where Rana spread gasoline all over the school and locked everyone inside?
No! The world after that! Don't you remember? In that world, he came back. Teppei Hojo did.
That's the worst possible world. No matter what we do, the counselors won't do anything. Satoko goes insane within a few days. Someone from our circle of friends developed the syndrome and attacked Teppei, right?
No, no, no! In the previous world, we all went to the Child Consultation Center and saved Satoko. In that world, Keiichi taught you so much. He taught you that you have to believe, otherwise a miracle won't occur. And he also said that if everyone believes, our wishes will definitely come true.
That sure is something Keiichi would say. But that's great. To defeat the world where Teppei returns, we couldn't do anything about that world even once before.
Do you know how Keiichi and the others in that world made a miracle happen? They talked to everyone. They didn't convince themselves that it was useless or agonize over it by themselves. They asked everyone for help.
Poor Hanyuu, I know, she's trying so hard.
That's how they brought about a miracle.
Everyone? So, want me to talk to Keiichi and the others about Takano? Do you really think they'd believe me if I told them an organization like Tokyo is after me?
Yes, they will. They did in the previous world. Why won't you believe me, Rika?
Sorry. It's not that I don't believe you. You saw it, so that's the truth, isn't it? I had no idea how frustrating it would be to not remember it myself.
Anyway, you and me going on and on about this won't solve anything. We don't have enough power on our own. But we have our weapon. That weapon is the truth. We don't know her motive, but we know that the culprit is Takano. So this is a very good start compared to all the other worlds. But why? Why can't you remember it? At the very end.
Hanyuu ground her teeth remorsefully. She saw the truth just a short time ago, so she couldn't believe that Rika didn't remember anything. If it was something she had seen herself, then she wouldn't even need a motive. But she hadn't, and that was why she couldn't understand. Why was her memory missing even when Hanyuu's memory was still intact? Did that mean their long journey was about to end? Perhaps her infinitely repeating journey was already over, and this was the last world of all.
I thought this world was odd since everyone could see you, and you even transferred to our school. But now I can really see how strange of a world this is.
There's nothing strange about it. This is just the final world, that's all. I came to this final world so we could gather all our powers. I'm not a bystander here. I'm your ally.
I see. You're no longer a bystander, huh?
I've decided not to be afraid anymore. I'm not afraid, and I'm going to believe with all of you. And a miracle will happen. This is a world we could bet on. This June of 1983. Rika and Takano are fighting. If Rika doesn't defeat her enemy this time, she'll lose. Takano has many powerful pieces like the mountain dogs. Rika will need a lot more pieces to be able to defeat her. So unless Rika asks for help from many people and gathers an equal number of pieces, the game won't even begin. We've learned the rules of this game board by playing the game repeatedly. It's like a game without a manual, but we've learned the rules, and now we know how to fight. We're ahead in the game because we already know what pieces our enemy has. Rika, you have to get busy. We only have 1 week before Watanagashi. We had 2 weeks in the previous worlds, but we only have 1 week in this one. In other words, this is our final chance.
Okay. Rather than grieving over what I don't remember, I should be grateful that you do. Because if you didn't, this final world would end while we ran about in confusion. Also, if I talk to Keiichi and the others in the right way, maybe I'll come up with some good ideas. Because he was the one who fought with Rena in that previous world. And when the school was about to explode, he brought her back.
Exactly! Anyway, let's go talk to anyone we can find. We're too weak by ourselves. Let's gather people and think about what to do. We have to take our first steps towards a miracle. And we have to do that within a week.
Hanyuu had never encouraged her like this before. She'd always pretended to be a bystander. She never wanted to go through the pain of failure, so she never had expectations for anything. But now she was trying to intervene in this world so passionately and proactively. According to Hanyuu, there had been another world after the one in which Rena occupied the school. Apparently, Keiichi really inspired her in that world. Rika had nothing to lose. She had to talk to whoever she thought she could trust. And whether she tried or not, she had only a very short time left. She decided to do whatever she possibly could until that time arrived. She would never again act like it was cool to sip wine pretending to be a witch as the end closed upon her.
Hello. It's been a while. This is Nomura. Yes, thank you for the detailed documents from the other day. Thanks to that data, men from the Ministry of Health and Welfare now understand how dangerous Hinamizawa syndrome is. That's the accomplishment of you and the late Dr. Takano.
Wait, is this the lady?
I don't know who this is. I've only made sure that you receive your fair assessment, is all. Anyway, I'll make sure the Prime Minister reads your documents. He's our leader, after all.
Yeah, is it the car lady? I feel like it's the car lady.
I'll have the most important person in this country read your article, and make sure he understands what important research this is and why Hinamizawa syndrome is an issue that needs his attention. Also, I'll make sure the present board of directors realizes how stupid they were to ignore your research and ridicule your grandfather's thesis. Indeed. I have great news for you. We've decided that after this operation is complete, the actual location will be isolated and shut down, and another department of the SDF will take over the research. You'll be welcome there, and you'll be able to continue your research for as long as you want without worrying about political factions or funding. That is all thanks to your generous client who wants to reward you for your hard work. You'll be given the position of director so you can devote yourself to your research. Isn't that wonderful? Finally, you'll be able to accomplish something that overturns common knowledge by researching Hinamizawa syndrome and the existence of parasites that influence human thought.
Okay, wait, I have a question though. If you do the whole thing where you kill off everyone in Hinamizawa, how are you going to research the syndrome? There won't be anyone left, right? Except like Takano herself, question mark? Though I guess if they have the medicine and they just inject it into people, they'll have L5 patients, but like, I don't know, man.
No, I'm not just saying that to flatter you. That's what we really think. She can do self-experimentation, yeah. Strap herself to a table and be like, cut here, remove this. Thank you. I see. Sorry to take up your time. I'll be going now. I'll get in touch with you again. The woman put down the handset of her car phone. Then she picked it up again and made another call. Please transfer me to extension 1001. Yes, this is Watanabe. Watanabe? Yes, the issue from the other day has been taken care of. Yes. And if the virus doesn't die with cold, then in theory they can keep it alive. I'm not a doctor, so I know a lot of them need heat to not. Yeah, I don't know. Very strange. Major Takano's documents are wonderful. I made some people from the National Research Center go along, so the men believed it without questioning. Yes, that's no problem either. Most of the cabinet ministers from the enemy factions will be either leaving the country or going on vacation, so they'll be out of Tokyo after the 20th. Yes, there are still some unsettled issues, but everything will be set by June 23rd. Yes. Therefore, the on-site operation will take place at midnight on June 22nd, and the Prime Minister will be asked for emergency sanctions on the 23rd. Yes, everyone aiding the Prime Minister on that day will be our people. He won't even question a thing. Yes, I'm certain. The Prime Minister will definitely sign Emergency Manual 34. Afterward, an investigation into Alphabet's duties will be taken up, and the Okuno, Chiba, and Old Koizumi factions will lose a great deal of sway. Yes, that's right. It's only a matter of time before we succeed with the Asian Amity and Reconstruction Summit. That's true. If there's money to spend on developing domestic nuclear arms or the Japanese-American alliance spanning the Pacific, then it would be more profitable for our nation to spend it on ODA toward China. The 21st century will be the era of China, with their nation claiming a good portion of the world's population. Japan gets nothing out of wagging its tail for the US anymore. Yes, I know. The 21st century's almost here, yet we're still saying that communism is the greatest evil. Maybe we've been watching too many bad American propaganda movies. Yes, I understand. Okay, then I'll see you in Macau next week. Yes, I love to gamble. Yes, it was nice talking to you. I'll get in touch with you soon. The woman put down the handset of her car phone and took a breath. She smiled in satisfaction, then picked up the handset again. Give me the chief cabinet secretary, please. Yes, this is Maizawa. Yes, it's me. Chief Okuno? Bro, she's just everyone. What the heck? We saw like 4 different names there. What is going on? Oh my gosh. The preparations are ready. Okay. She's an elite manipulator? Yeah, seems like it. That is crazy.
Whatever is going on? Rika, you aren't behaving normally this morning. Think so? Am I acting strange? I don't know how to say it, but you seem much more mature today.
Oh. Rika's being mature. Oh.
Hanyuu, don't tease me today. You too, Satoko. Please don't mess around. I don't feel like it. About a week, counting from today, huh? Satoko gave me a perplexed look. Perhaps she thought I didn't feel well. I want to talk to Keiichi and the others, including Satoko, but I don't know how or where to begin. We all like to joke around a lot, so they might not take me seriously. How can I get them to understand the danger I'm in? Good morning to you, Chia-sensei. Oh, you're here as well, Coach. Good morning to you, too.
Good morning, Satoko-chan. Rika-chan. Oh my. Is that a headband for maids that you're wearing? That's against the school regulations. You'll be punished. Dr. Irie, stop acting like that at school.
Coach, Rika doesn't seem to be feeling well this morning. Might you check her over, please?
Oh, what's the matter? Did you catch a cold?
I still don't know how to tell my friends, but Irie at least is on our side. Maybe I could talk to him more directly. If I keep thinking about it, I'll still be thinking at the end of the day. Maybe I'll start with him. Hanyuu nodded as if saying that was a good idea.
Oh, Satoko, let's play a trick on Keiichi. Let's do something to his chair.
Oh, please, it's a trap, not a trick. I'll teach you how to set a trap for Keiichi-san.
Mans needs a new wig. You don't like his hair? Oh.
Hanyuu and Satoko ran to the classroom. Hanyuu must have left on purpose. I have to use this chance she's given me. Irie, can I talk to you in the nurse's office?
Sure, that's fine. Let's go there.
Irie probably thinks I'm going to talk to him about Hinamizawa syndrome, so we agreed to go somewhere people couldn't hear. If there's any change in my physical condition, it could be a sign of something very serious. Even if it's just a simple cold, Irie is very concerned about my health.
What's wrong? Are you feeling sick?
Irie, I'm going to tell you something odd, but I want you to take it seriously. It's a very important matter. I gave Irie the sternest look I've ever shown him as I spoke. Irie usually acts like an idiot, but he can be an adult when he needs to be. Seeing the expression on my face, Irie started to look more grave himself. How do I start? Okay. Irie, I'm the queen carrier, right?
Yes. The parasite that lives in your body is different from everyone else's.
What happens if I die?
I told you before, something terrible will happen. No, but to be precise, we believe something terrible will happen. After all, it's impossible to verify until you die. However, several cases involving social brain parasites similar to those of the Hinamizawa syndrome have shown that the death of the queen carrier can cause mass suicides or riots. That would be Takano-san's area of expertise. Maybe you should ask her instead. Don't know much about it myself.
In other words, Takano knows better than anybody that if I die, something terrible will happen. More than ever, I don't know why Takano wants to kill me. There's no way I can figure it out myself. Edie is here with me right now. Maybe he'll know. I should ask him. Edie, please don't ask questions and just answer. Would there be something to gain from killing me?
What? Kill you, Rika-san? Who would?
Edie, you aren't supposed to ask questions, remember?
Sorry. No, I can't think of anything. There isn't anyone who would benefit from your death. I repeat, if something happens to the Queen Carrier, all infected persons will reach the terminal stage within 48 hours. That's what makes the syndrome so dangerous. The scale of the disaster will be far greater than any individual case of paranoia or psychosis.
Would anyone profit from that disaster?
No way. Killing you is tantamount to killing all 2,000 villagers. Nobody would consider that for a minute, even as a joke.
If I die, all the residents of Hinamizawa will go insane and may even kill each other. What a perfect ending for the people who are descended from demons, huh? Could that be what Takano wants? Since she always talks about dangerous and bizarre things, it's obvious she enjoys cruelty. She always talks about how she wants to witness with her own eyes the raw brutality of the man-eating demons she read about in the dark history of Onigafuchi village. It's possible that she wants me dead just so all the villagers will develop terminal symptoms.
Car Lady go brr, yeah, she benefits. Somehow. Of course, that's in the worst case. So if something happens to you, there's an emergency measure we're supposed to follow.
An emergency measure? I've never heard about anything like that.
I've never told you about this before. It's a rather unpleasant measure, so that's why I never mentioned it. The Idia Institute's top priority is protecting the Queen Carrier, but if you die and all infected persons develop terminal symptoms, we're supposed to go ahead with this contingency plan.
That's understandable. If all 2,000 villagers were to go insane, there would be no guarantee that the devastation would remain within the village. Obviously, it's a good idea to be prepared for the worst-case scenario.
There are these things called emergency manuals, and among them, the one for the worst possible disaster, in other words, in the event of your death, is called Emergency Manual 34.
What happens with that?
Before all the villagers go insane, they'll be exterminated. To be exact, a special unit from the Self-Defense Force will seal off Hinamizawa and kill the villagers using poisonous gas.
I've never heard of that before either.
Sorry, I don't really like talking about it.
I've been interested in things that happen before I die, but not in things that happen after I'm dead. This disaster only takes place after I die. I had no idea that something like this occurs every single time. Or rather, I'm the cause. If the enemy is capable of erasing an entire village, then killing a little girl like me wouldn't be a problem at all. Hanyuu's telling me to just talk to everyone. Can I really stand against an opponent like that? Anyway, the existence of this emergency manual changes everything. Takano's motive no longer makes sense. I thought her goal was for all the villagers to go mad and slaughter each other like demons. But according to what Idia said, that won't even happen. The villagers will all be killed before it does. I'm not Takano, so I can't be sure, but I don't think that would be fun for her. It doesn't make sense to kill me for that purpose, especially since we've known each other for such a long time. Do you think it's possible for Takano and the mountain dogs to kill me?
Don't be stupid. That's just impossible. Takano-san's #1 priority is to protect you, and then one of the mountain dog's main duties is to watch over you. That's simply unthinkable.
Idia, even so, supposing Takano wanted to kill me, can you think of a motive for her doing so?
No, I can't. She knows better than anybody about the dangers of the Queen Carrier. Besides, as you're well aware, she's very passionate about our research into the syndrome. Killing you would put an end to that source of her passion.
But Idia, Hinamizawa syndrome is supposed to be eradicated within 3 years, isn't it? In other words, you're going to destroy the disease. What does Takano think about that?
Well, Hinamizawa syndrome is the target of treatment for me, but for Takano-san, it's research material.
Actually, she's strongly against the plan to eradicate it within 3 years, and she has even made a trip to Tokyo to request an indefinite extension of the project from the board of directors. She wasn't successful, though.
So what you're saying is that Takano wants to continue her research, but Hinamizawa syndrome is going to be eradicated within 3 years, so Takano's going to lose the subject of her research, isn't she?
I guess you could say that.
I think I see something here. The Idia Institute isn't a small organization. It's being managed by a lot of people, and it receives a great deal of funding. That's the only way they can even research the syndrome. So if the Idia Institute is planning to put an end to the research within 3 years, there really isn't much Takano can do about it. If it's all going to end anyway, then maybe she wants to shake things up.
No way! Something like that can't possibly happen.
But you know how she is, right? She would do it. She would kill me if she wanted to, don't you think?
No way. No way. Something as horrible as that just isn't possible.
I feel like I'm starting to see Takano's motive, but it seems like there must be more. After all, the project will continue for at least 3 additional years. It's possible that during those 3 years, Takano's request will be approved and their research will get an extension. In other words, the research is guaranteed to continue for a minimum of 3 more years. Given those 3 years, why is she so desperate now? Besides, I'm always killed in June 1983. The date may change a bit, but the month won't. That must be the result of her strong willpower. It would be one thing if their research was being terminated immediately. She still has 3 years, yet she's getting desperate. Her motive is too weak. She must be possessed by the strong conviction that it has to be June 1983. After that, no matter how I questioned Irie, he kept repeating that there was no way Takano would kill me, so I didn't see how he could be of any more help. However, if I'm able to explain Takano's motive, then I think he'll be my ally.
The Bite of 83, wait, it's all coming together, oh my gosh. So Five Nights at Freddy's action going on here? That's crazy.
But for now, I think this is all I can do with him. I'm going to talk to Tomitake too. Tomitake is a lot closer to Tokyo than Irie is. Maybe he could tell me something Irie can't. I hope I can learn some important things from him too, enough to convince him that Takano has a strong enough motive to kill me. Tomitake should be visiting Hinamizawa around this time. He spends a lot of time with Takano, but he often takes walks by himself to enjoy photographing birds too. I'll try finding him when he's not with Takano and talking to him then. Although, Tomitake does have strong feelings toward Takano. I'm worried he won't listen to me as seriously as Irie did. Thank you very much. I'm going back to the classroom. If you find out something about Takano, please let me know.
Rika-san, why do you think Takano-san is trying to kill you? You haven't developed symptoms, have you?
You're doubting me. Would you like to run a test right now? He said some terrible things out of the blue, so I don't blame him for becoming suspicious. However, thanks to the rapid diagnostic test Irie had developed at this point, it was easy to prove with a syringe. I just had to submit to the needle to show that I haven't developed terminal symptoms. Results were negative, of course.
It's just impossible. For Takano-san to... Just impossible!
Maybe now Irie believes that there's a possibility that Takano's trying to kill me. I left the nurse's office. I hope Irie will grow curious about Takano and try to find out something about her.
So how was it, Rika? Did you find out anything?
Well, yes and no. It's hard to say, but there are a couple of interesting things. One is how the Idia Institute is trying to eradicate the syndrome within 3 years.
Overthrow her, let's go!
Takano doesn't like the idea. She went to Tokyo to petition for the continuation of her research, but they refused. That might cause her to become desperate. The second is this thing called Emergency Manual 34. Supposedly, if I die, that'll be executed and the whole village will be murdered by poisonous gas.
Oh.
They say that when I die, the villagers will develop terminal symptoms, right? First, I thought that Takano wants me dead because she wants to see that happen. But since there's such an emergency manual, the village will be long gone before then. So that can't be your motive. Every time I ask Irie, all he says is that it isn't possible. According to him, Takano understands the importance of the situation better than anybody. Therefore, she doesn't have any reason to kill me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I know. I've only asked Irie so far. It's possible we can learn more information or wisdom from other people too.
That's right. Unless we bring everyone's power together, a miracle won't occur.
We need that miracle to defeat our enemies.
It's almost lunchtime.
What was the ending where she died at the Torii Gates? And if things go very wrong when she dies. So when you're talking about when Keiichi found her and she was being like eaten by birds? Is it that one? I think that ending, Keiichi. So Keiichi basically like, was that game 3? I think that might have been game 3. So Satoko like pushed him off a bridge and he passed out for like 3 days. And somehow he had escaped the gas, and so he ran around the village looking for people after he woke up, and he found her there. And then he was discovered by some of the people that came to like check to see if there were any survivors. Yeah, it was between that and the torture dungeon with the twins. Yeah, I think torture dungeon, I don't remember what Keiichi did there, to be honest. But I think, I don't think Shion killed Rika, right? Did she? Wait, I feel like there was like a standoff between Shion and Rika at some point, but I don't remember which game that was, or how that ended. Maybe Shion did kill Rika and just throw her down the well? Maybe. They do blend together.
That'll be a good chance to talk to everyone.
Though, the problem is whether or not they'll take it seriously when I talk to them. Once I start talking about the secret society, Tokyo, they'll obviously ask what manga I'm talking about. I need to figure out a good way to discuss it so I avoid misunderstandings.
No, I think it'll be better to be honest with them without really thinking too much about it.
Do you really think so?
Yes, let's just try. Tell them in the way I'll teach you, and I'm sure they'll take you seriously and help out.
I'm still not sure, but Hanyuu seems very confident. Hanyuu spent her life observing various people. She's never talked to Mion directly before this life, but she knows her better than I do. I talk to everyone during lunchtime in the way that Hanyuu taught me.
That sure is interesting. And then?
Oh, that's amazing, Rika-chan. How do you come up with things like that?
I know. You're so I know. You're so talented. If you work on it a little more, you could end up with a really great manga.
I don't know what to say. I thought maybe something was bothering you because you haven't been looking good since this morning. Why didn't you come to me first?
See? I told you that you could count on them.
I don't think it's working, Hanyuu.
Ow, ow.
Count on them, huh? It all comes down to how you put it, I guess.
Hanyuu's delusional and that's okay. Real? Think she needs to be? That's true. That's true. They gotta try at least. This old man can create application forms, make rough drafts, ink, tone, draw, backgrounds, typeset, and proofread, take manuscripts to a printer, publish, distribute, and support. He can do it all. Good thing you came to him.
Oh, you sure are great, Neon. You could be a cartoonist, an editor, a publisher, and a bookstore owner all at once.
Me on the mangaka, literally. Really? My dad says things like that too. Is doing everything yourself in style now?
Oh, I'm curious about what kind of comic Mi-chan would write. I'm curious. Hold on. You're all getting sidetracked. Let's help Rika out, alright?
Oh my gosh, Satoko actually stepping up? That's crazy. Thank you for the hydrated stretch kimono. How are you doing?
I told them all about the secrets surrounding Hinamizawa. I told them that I wanted to write a comic book and that I needed their help to decide on a few things.
Oh, interesting.
If I spoke to them about this normally, they might question my sanity. But to see things change this dramatically with just a little preface... Hanyuu, you're pretty good.
Anyway, so if this queen carrier dies, the village will be destroyed because of some emergency measure. That's the focus, right?
My goodness, if there really was someone like that, she'd better be very careful. One mistake and poof, the whole village would disappear. We should just capture her, wrap her in bubble wrap, and put her in storage or something. But she gets killed, right? If they know her death will create a disaster, why would they kill her? Why? That's just it. The bad people at the research center know what'll happen, yet they're still trying to kill me. I mean, the queen carrier. I just can't think of a good explanation for why. I kind of see an outline of the motive, though. Can they actually find a hint without knowing any of the actual details?
Subtle, Rika, indeed. That's so simple. The fact that the entire village gets destroyed if the queen carrier dies is a motive in and of itself.
Mion laughed as she casually voiced what was on her mind.
But Mion, this village wants to research the disease more. Oh, this villain, not village. So there's no way she'd put an end to it herself. Hello.
That's not a big problem. Just set some masterminds pulling some strings behind that villain. Or some villain who's just using that villain.
A villain who wants to use Takano?
Listen, if the queen dies, the village is plunged into chaos. To cover it up, a mass execution operation is carried out. Car lady, let's go!
Mion Big Brain.
Fundamentally, this is a countermeasure against the worst possible outcome. A trump card that must never be played. Because playing it causes a disaster of its own, even if it settles the previous situation. You're right. In politics, they always talk about who takes responsibility for this and who resigns for that. If in fact a mass execution like that was to take place, someone would have to explain that and take responsibility. Well, it's a secret operation, so I'm sure it won't be made public, but there will be many people questioned within that Tokyo organization, that's for sure. Isn't that a motive for killing the queen carrier?
Oh? Why? Who benefits from such chaos?
There are plenty of people. Think about it. The wind always blows in one direction. For some people it's a headwind, and for others it's a tailwind. There are always people who gain and people who lose.
I see. Oh, my brain finds this quite stimulating. In other words, if something like that happens, there will be some people who have to take responsibility for it, and their enemies will gain from it, whoever they are. That's right. There are always different powers and factions within an organization, especially if it's a huge mastermind organization like this Tokyo. I'm sure many different people there have hidden agendas.
In other words, there are plenty of people who want to rule over others, and there are plenty of reasons to assassinate the queen carrier.
Are you saying that even if the bad person doesn't have a reason, that there could be people who have reasons to kill the queen carrier in Tokyo?
There you go, you've got it. Also, what about the backstory for the bad person at the secret research center?
She wants to keep her research going, but it's already been decided it'll end within 3 years, right?
So this researcher is about to see all her research turn to naught. That means all the fruits of her life's work are about to be ruined, and she's under extreme duress. Not only that, I think her pride must be hurt too. Because Car Lady's motive is for the group of old people who run the Alphabet Project to fall, but she wants that. I'm not quite sure either, but I assume maybe like what if it has something to do with the Prime Minister, right? Because she mentioned that in order to trigger Emergency Manual 34, they need the Prime Minister's okay, right? And all the people that are gonna be with him that specific day are their people, so they're gonna convince the Prime Minister so that he has no choice but to say yes. And if they can dump the blame on the Prime Minister, maybe they can get him out of there and put someone of one of their own people to be the new Prime Minister. I don't know. But I feel like that would make sense in terms of, like, why they would want to do that. Yeah, political drama, basically. I don't know. Very confusing. Especially because, like, we have no information on the car lady. Except that she's just, like, very powerful. So yeah, I don't know. That's true. The value of the research this bad person has spent half of her life on isn't being acknowledged by the people at the top. And they even told her that it'll be shut down within 3 years.
That must be tough. It's hard when other people deny that which you've worked so hard to accomplish.
Rika.
Yeah, I know. Amazing. My friends really are the best. This is starting to sound like a real motive for Takano.
Oh, so what would this bad person do then?
Of course, the first thing she'd do would be to appeal to her bosses. She'd probably try to explain to Tokyo how important and valuable her research is, and ask them not to shut it down. But, well, if Tokyo just said, yes, got it, continue your research, we'll increase your budget too, that wouldn't be much of a comic. So the bosses at Tokyo are sure to turn her request down hard and thoroughly. They tell her that her work is a waste of time and that it should be scrapped immediately or something like that.
Idiot told me that Takano had gone to Tokyo to request an extension on her research. He also said that her request was denied. Oh, can you imagine her anger at having her life's work mocked by her superiors? There are then only 2 options open to her. Sadoko, what are they?
That's easy. She could cry herself to sleep over it, or she could take revenge.
Keiichi and Sadoko gave each other a high five.
Well, lying down and taking it wouldn't be very interesting either. In that case, the villainous researcher, who loved to research more than anyone, starts growing desperate and believing she should at least end it herself, rather than letting someone else end it for her. All because of her pride.
Oh, and that's where the hidden agenda from Tokyo comes in.
No way! You mean that idea? That someone will gain when the village is thrown into disaster and another's forced to take responsibility?
Exactly! The villainous researcher is depressed after having her life's work rejected. But by riling her up the right way, they can cause a tragedy in the village without soiling their own hands. Then they can take their time investigating and demanding responsibility. Well done! See?
That's right. There's more. This villain is depressed after having her life's work rejected, right? So then, one of the young leaders plotting to kick another member of Tokyo down and climb the ladder dispatches his own agent to entice this villain.
She's depressed because her reason for existing was trampled on, right? If someone tells her that he needs to believe in her and such, she'll fall for it easily. The stronger a person's pride is, the easier they fall for that kind of encouragement.
That means the bad person is simply being used by their evil masterminds. Well, this happens a lot in action shows. You know how, like, someone devotes his life to an evil organization, but after one mistake he gets eliminated?
But in this story, the evil researcher has to be eliminated for sure, right? For the masterminds, there's no point in letting her stick around.
That's right. So this poor bad person thinks she has gotten an evil little part to play, but at the end, her life's work is insulted, she gets used by the masterminds, and after all of that, she gets killed. Although she's a bad person, people may sympathize with her for what she has to go through. But I guess that's what makes a story interesting. Don't you think? Maybe we can use that in the next issue.
Hanyuu and I could only listen to them talk. They're truly amazing. They really are.
I do not sympathize with Takano whatsoever. Nah, she's a little too much of a nutcase for that.
It is very possible, especially if I think about Takano's character. Come to think of it, Idiot kept repeating that isn't possible a whole lot, which means that those words could be a reflection of how possible it might really be. I'm sure my friends can answer that question. I'm going to ask them, so let's ask them.
Oh, then why is she so desperate when she still has 3 years left?
That doesn't matter. It really doesn't make a difference if you're getting executed tomorrow or 3 days later, right? It's just a matter of the length of her probation. This bad person doesn't feel she has 3 years left. She feels that she's been sentenced to die in... in 3 years. That's just what the masterminds want. They're the ones controlling this bad person. I think it's the masterminds who want to destroy the village at this particular time, not the bad person. This is a huge operation, you know? It has to succeed. The death of the Queen Carrier isn't their only key to success. Whoever's at the top has to decide to go ahead with the emergency measure. The responsibility issue after the operation aside, they have to take care of things like preparation. Or rather, they have to figure out the perfect time to do the most damage. After calculating all that, I think they're going to get on with the operation now that the project has only 3 years left. It's not the will of 83, but the will of Tokyo, indeed. So in the end, after this bad person gets used, she's eliminated. She's the villain, but I feel sorry for her. I see. Oh.
Okay, let me move on to the most important thing. To defeat them, how can the Queen Carrier girl fight back? She's the main character in my story.
Huh, that sounds interesting. So the girl they're trying to kill has to run from the evil people, right? It depends on how you serialize it. If you want a long series, coming up with new pursuers and assassins one after another will let you go on for a long time. Oh, if possible, we want a short-term and concentrated series.
Pfft, I burst out laughing at Hanyuu's metaphor.
Okay, then we just have to take care of the bad person quickly and shoot for a happy ending. It's more exciting to fight than to run.
But the main character is just an ordinary little girl, right? How could she fight?
Girls nowadays aren't powerless. She might appear to be a cute, weak girl, but she has a secret hidden power. Rooftop fight scene take 2, let's go. She's the S-rank hunter with the blood of royalty. And her nickname is the Ebony Fallen Angel.
Oh, that sounds like the lame original character of some middle schooler.
Oh my gosh, Rena. Let's go. Hey, Mion, what's wrong? Do you have a stomach ache or something? Fine. This old man's just not talented enough.
Mion, you can do it. Though when you read that manga 10 years from now, it may be so bitter you writhe in agony.
She just called Rika Mary Sue. That's crazy. Oh, I don't know exactly what Mion is trying to say, but anyway, the main character is a weak little girl and she doesn't have any special weapons. If anything, she's good at acting innocent. Also, she's mean and she abuses me with spicy food.
That sounds good. I'll try that starting tonight.
Whoa. I see. So she's just a regular girl, huh? But a story where a character like that beats such a conspiracy is going to be difficult. No way. It's impossible. She couldn't win without at least gathering a variety of weapons and the skills to operate a radio and a helicopter. Either that or a professional survivalist who underwent special forces training with the Soviets. That or someone capable of causing confusion in the ranks with just a truck and a few weapons once they're in the jungle. I have a feeling that if Mion and Satoko were the main character's friends, that would solve the problem right there. Huh? This old man? Sure, if he was a character, it'd change the whole story. Is this Vietnam, huh? I have no idea. She is babbling. My fighting techniques and leadership skills are unparalleled. Plus, if the story took place here in this village, my familiarity with the area is top-notch too. Besides, anyone who makes an enemy of Satoko is as good as dead. Ain't I right?
I don't know what kind of a secret unit this bad person has, but they're nothing compared to my traps. If the main character and I barricaded ourselves in the hills, no enemy could lay his fingers on her.
Yeah, if she holds up with Satoko in the hills behind us, then her assailants would either need a bombardment capable of crossing the whole thing, or a Hanoi-class heavy bomber at least. Even if they led with that before entering the mountain, they'd still take on severe casualties. Furthermore, I'd be commanding the operations. Well, her assailants better be prepared for casualties on par with the Iwo landing. Right, Satoko?
Oh, they'd better bring a nuclear warhead if they want to fight me on the hills.
Girl! True, Satoko would be amazing in the hills, but are you sure you could defeat the the bad person's helpers? They're professionals, you know. Surprise attacks and traps are effective against anyone. The Vietnam War is a good example. The US Army, the most powerful military in the world, couldn't stand up against the jungle. A multitude of traps set by someone who knows the area well will go a very long way.
Are you saying that Satoko's traps would work on them too?
Of course. Not only that, but they'd be very effective. The purpose of traps isn't just to ensnare their victims. They also make people extremely afraid. See, but they tried this last time and it didn't work. Like, it worked for a little while, but it failed eventually, so it's like... Alright, guys. They're professionals, so they'll be extra careful. Therefore, their commander will become indecisive. He'll have to decide whether to go into the hills or not. That means we gain more time. Heh heh. So they would need at least a bombardment to capture us. But this isn't a war, so they probably won't go that far.
I definitely don't think that's possible. Anyway, Mion is a professional when it comes to deciding on tactics. And she's saying that Satoko's traps will be more than effective, even against the mountain dogs. That's very reassuring.
They need whatever the opposite of Agent Orange is since they're the ones in said jungle. Yeah. I don't think this is gonna work, guys. The flip side of traps is that they can only be used to defend, and it takes a long time to set them up. Also, traps don't discriminate. Satoko's hills meet all the requirements, though.
That's true! Nobody goes into the hills, and Satoko-chan's traps are already everywhere. The main character can barricade herself in just by going there.
If I'm going to be there, it won't just be a simple barricade. I'm going to use it as a diversion to draw away the enemy's main force, and then launch a surprise attack. Drawing the enemy in deep and attacking from behind when their defenses are light is the rudimentary tactic for an ambush and counterattack. Repelling them at the beachhead is the height of hard-headedness.
Oh, Mi-chan and Satoko-chan are so cool. But how? Keiichi-kun and I are left out.
And all of us will be the main characters. We'll all fight them off together. There you go. That's better. Heh. Now that we're all in on it, it's like this is the club members versus an evil organization, huh? I don't know what kind of a bad person this is, but I feel sorry for her and her friends. Though I don't know how powerful they are. Fighting face to face is one thing, but if we use our knowledge of the terrain, they have no chance of winning. If they want to defeat us here in Hinamizawa, they'll need to bring an Overlord-class army to bear. Though we'll fight off even that.
Mion laughed and everyone nodded along. Amazing. I'm starting to think that if we try our best, we could defeat even the mountain dogs. If we fight directly, we'll be taken down immediately even if we use a surprise attack. But if we set traps and if we have enough of them, who knows?
See, Rika? Your friends are very reliable.
You're right. I don't know why I never told them anything until now.
Even if it's something you can't do alone, you could do it with your friends.
Even if only a miracle can make it happen, if we all try our hardest, it could be done easily. That's what a miracle is. My heart is pounding. What is this emotion? I feel like nothing is impossible if I work together with them. Hanyuu told me that in a different world, they defeated the worst scenario of all, the one where Teppei comes home. I don't remember, but something tells me deep inside that the exact same kind of miracle is about to happen in this world too. Me, and everyone else too. We want a lot more ideas. How can we defeat the conspiracy? Please tell me a lot more.
Whack, indeed. I don't know how I feel about that plan.
I'd only asked for Tomitake. But Irie had come with him. Irie must be bothered by what I told him this morning, but he can't come to a conclusion on his own, so he wants Tomitake to listen to me too. After saying that he wouldn't interrupt us, Irie sat down a little distance away.
I heard from Director Irie. Why are you suspicious of Takano-san? She knows better than anyone else that your death would cause a disaster. Besides, Takano-san has been good to you and Satoko-chan, right? And to say this about her now, don't you think that's a little ungrateful?
Get out of here, lover boy! Yeah, get out. The door is that way.
I expected this from Tomitake. If I was in the same mood as I was this morning, I probably wouldn't have continued. But having expected this, I'm able to continue without getting upset. Tomitake, please be honest with me. I want you to really think about it too. Of course Takano wouldn't kill me under normal circumstances, but can you absolutely guarantee that she would never do so?
What do you mean?
Takano has devoted her life to the research of the syndrome. Isn't that true?
Yeah. Just between you and me, she's the most important person at this institution. Director Idia's position is just a formality, and it's Takano-san. And Takano-san is the one who's really leading the research. This is supposed to be a secret, but the syndrome was discovered by her grandfather. Takano-san respects him greatly, and she opened the Idia Institute so she could continue and complete his research.
So how does she feel now about being told that the project will be shutting down within 3 years? Takano even went to Tokyo and requested an extension, but it was denied, right? Couldn't you say then that the meaning of her life itself is being denied? Don't you think she's hurt?
Rika-chan, where did you hear all that?
This is a big secret, so I'll entrust it to an 8-year-old. Great idea. Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, who's she gonna tell, right? Because he's kind of the only contact she has with Tokyo. But yeah, big brain Tomitake.
Tomitake went silent for a moment. He must have realized that I'm not just saying random things.
It is true that Takano-san went to see the board of directors, and that she was evaluated extremely poorly. According to what I heard, they really ridiculed her work. She was told that the research project was a waste of money. She's been acting normally, but I think she was really hurt by it, yeah.
See? So how can you be so sure that she won't become desperate, thinking that her research is going to be shut down anyway?
No, not Takano-san. That's impossible.
It's the same thing that Idia said. He kept saying it was impossible, yet he couldn't deny it completely. He repeated the same phrase over and over to refute that possibility. In fact, even though we know Takano is the enemy, we can only guess at her motive.
You fools! You have no idea what she's like!
The only way to find out is to tie her down and make her confess. But there's a meaning in making Tomitake become suspicious of Takano. It's even important to do that so that he'll become my ally. Of course, this is also a strategy devised by our club leader.
It is a rather scary thing to imagine, but Takano-san won't gain anything from your death. I can understand her becoming desperate, but she has self-control. Time heals all wounds.
Unless you're L5.
Isn't it easier to deceive the heartbroken?
Deceive? What do you mean?
Tomitake, if I die, something terrible will happen, right? An emergency manual will be executed and the whole village will be destroyed.
Is that right? I had no idea.
Tomitake isn't good at covering his lies. It shows that he's bad at hiding things since he's innately honest, which makes him a nice person. Idia told me already. I don't want to waste time, so let's be open about this, okay? The emergency manual is a last resort, so if it's actually executed, it'll be a disaster, right?
I love bad liars. Imagine him trying to play Among Us. He could never.
Tomitake seemed to be wondering if he should confirm the existence of the emergency manual, but the fact that Idia had already told me about it, combined with me being the queen carrier, prompted him to confirm it, albeit hesitantly.
Yeah, it would be a disaster. It's not that easy to erase an entire village. We'll have to cross several dangerous bridges, and it's not humane even if it becomes necessary. It truly will be a disaster.
I'll be straight with you. Someone will benefit from that situation.
No way. There can't be. There won't be any gains. It'll develop into a hunt for blame, and in the worst case, the problem might expand past Tokyo and into the government.
In which case, there's someone who will benefit from that commotion, isn't there? If the emergency manual is executed, there'll be someone forced to sign off on it, and afterward, they'll start an investigation into the people who allowed the situation to get to that point. To be specific, those in charge of organizing the Idia Institute. Won't those manipulators be forced to take the blame and be driven out of Tokyo?
I'm not sure.
There's a limited number of posts. People are constantly vying for them. So would it be that strange if there was someone hoping to steal a seat by lighting a fuse on this dangerous bomb we call the emergency manual? They could remain hidden in a safe place and smugly fill the empty seat after everything's blown up. All this is what Mion suggested. She didn't know a thing about Tokyo, yet she struck its course so hard even Tomitake was shaken. Mion is the greatest commander and strategist our club could ever have. Tomitake folded his arms. He's starting to lose his cool. I think he realizes that what I'm saying isn't mere nonsense.
It's true that the big shots in Tokyo just passed away. A big shot. He left a power vacuum and there's a political struggle going on over it. Even the EDA Institute's client, the Alphabet Project, had its board of directors purged and reformed. So there's been talk of immediately shutting down the research in order to make an example of the EDA Institute since it was supported by the old faction.
So if I die and the emergency manual is executed, the EDA Institute and the board of directors behind it, as well as the faction that supports them, will be held responsible. Normally, the Hinamizawa syndrome and other dangerous bombs associated with it are safe because only Tokyo knows about them. But when there's an enemy within Tokyo itself, Hinamizawa becomes a bomb that's all too easy to detonate.
Is that something you made up, Rika-chan?
Is it a fabrication, or is it the truth?
I don't know, but if I think about what's going on in Tokyo, I guess it is possible for some people to think things like that.
Tomitake, you're a good person. You're a very good person who believes in his close friend. So I know that if I say these things to Tomitake, you'll never accept them. But I have to bring this up with First Lieutenant Tomitake, auditor for the EDA Institute.
Are you saying that it's Takano-san?
Yes, her request was denied, as was her own life. Not only that, she was denounced by the board of directors, so she's very hurt. You should know that since you're always with her, Tomitake. Is there any chance that someone seeking to use that heartbroken Takano approached her and instigated her into action? People who are hurt often open their hearts to whoever claims to understand them. Someone like that might have approached Takano to start something that'll lead to chaos in Tokyo. Tomitake insisted that Takano-san would never do that. He repeated it a few more times, but then he fell silent again. Tomitake is an adult. He must have experienced some heartbreaking events himself. That's why he can understand that Takano is very hurt, and that it's possible that someone is using her.
I understand what you want to say. I should clear up some issues first before I can truly trust Takano-san, huh?
Tomitake.
I'll get in touch with both Okonogi-kun from the Mountain Dogs and the Tokyo office to see if there have been some suspicious reports regarding Takano-san lately.
Car lady should get into a car mine, crash it.
Quick, bring in the witches! The Mountain Dog's specialty is counterintelligence, after all.
No, the Mountain Dogs are on Takano's side.
What?
This is someone who persuaded Takano. Of course they've taken measures for the Mountain Dogs as well.
That isn't impossible. The Mountain Dogs are a special counterintelligence unit. Even if there was a collaborator in the EDA Institute, it would be very difficult so long as they were attending to their duties. But if the Mountain Dogs themselves were... Can it that be? But...
Tomitake, please look into both Takano and the Mountain Dogs. EDA is on my side, but he doesn't know too much about Tokyo.
That's true. I'm just a researcher. I know my position is just a formality for their convenience. That's why I can't clear Rika-san's suspicions by myself. I understand. I've been told that there's a possibility the EDA Institute could become rebellious.
Sir, you were meant to stay away. Yeah, what happened to I'll be somewhere else?
He was listening this whole time. That's the reason why I'm here. I'll start investigating Takano-san and the Mountain Dogs right away.
Thank you for believing me. This is the first time you actually have. I've been laughed away in many worlds, but Tomitake finally listened to me. He'll be a very strong ally in the fight against Takano. Also, I'm grateful for my friends who prepared me to talk to him. I got information on the current situation from Irie and had my friends analyze it, and because of that, managed to get Tomitake to listen, just as Hanyuu said. I couldn't have done anything if I kept thinking about it all alone. But after talking to my friends, things were already changing. Actually, I'm going into hiding starting today. Mion's house has a secret basement that's perfect for that. I haven't talked to Mion about it yet, but I think she'll understand my request now. So if you find anything, please get in touch with her. Starting today, please act like I've gone missing.
Understood. I think that's safest too. Why would you tell people your hiding spot? I know! What is going on? Unless it's like a diversion, you know? Like she's actually gonna go hide in the hills and then tell them that she's hiding at Mion's. I don't know. But like, oh, Rika, you're throwing. I'll act like I usually do, so people don't grow suspicious. Though I'll be careful, of course. Dr. Irie, please act normal as well. But always be on your guard. Yeah, cause like they were talking about it earlier, right? But Mion said that the hill was supposed to, I don't know. We shall see. Because he's a bad liar and she knows, yeah, it would make sense to like lie to them, right? And if they tell Mion anyway, then Mion can just tell her, because Mion will probably know the actual hiding spot, right? Like, that makes sense to me. I understand. I'll be very cautious.
Tomitake, please be careful yourself. I have a feeling you might be assassinated within a few days. This is the part he's never taken seriously. Please, hear what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll be extra careful. Thank you.
Then Tomitake turned around all of a sudden. Irie and I sensed something odd from his behavior and grew tense. Then, we heard some footsteps. We've been so careless. Did somebody overhear us? Did Takano and her people hear what we were saying?
Liar! It's crazy.
I'll never forget that laugh as long as I live.
The goat! He's here!
Hello, hello. What an interesting group. Dr. Irie, Tomitake-san, and Rika-san. I've been to Hinamizawa quite often, but I've never seen you three together before.
Also, can we just talk about how dumb it is for them to talk outside when the mountain dogs are keeping an eye on Rika 24/7? Excuse me? Oh, hello. Oh, Ishi-san. Huh? Is today the meeting day for Watanagashi? It's still so early.
Irie tried to change the subject, but obviously Oishi had heard everything. Tomitake from Tokyo is okay, but it's too early for Oishi from the police department to get involved.
Right, they could have tapped the whole outside shirt. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is going on? Where is the thought process here? But whatever, I guess.
Things are already complicated. Why does he have to show up now? Anyway, this isn't good.
Well, when I went to your house, Hojo-san told me you were here. And I happened to run into your secret meeting. Sorry to bother you, though.
The air froze, leaving only silence. The way Oishi is speaking makes it obvious that he's trying to sniff things out. I bet he only heard a part of our conversation, so he can't grasp exactly what we were talking about. That's why he's trying to make us confess the whole thing.
Come now, don't look at me like that. I'm getting embarrassed. Well, I brought someone with me today. Someone Rika-san would love to see again. I'm sure if you remember Rika-san, because if you don't, he might even start crying.
What? Who? I can only think of one person. But did he ever come here in June of 1983? But who else would come visit me?
Come on in.
Oishi encourages a
Virile?
young man to enter. He looked a lot more mature than the last time I saw him. Akasaka.
Thank you for remembering me, Rika-chan. You won't tell me to go back to Tokyo this time, will you?
Akasaka. Akasaka!
I remember how you helped me. Or rather, maybe I forgot at some point. But if I forgot about it completely, I would regret it. So I recalled it. You told me to call Yukie, and because I did, she avoided getting into an accident. The lad is here. You saved her life, and I'm here now out of gratitude. I feel like I've forgotten about it for a very long time. But now I finally remember. Sorry to make you wait for so long.
That's right. You made me wait forever. And now you show up in this final world. You waited until the very last minute. How dare you? Akasaka. Akasaka.
I'm your ally no matter what. I'll believe everything you tell me. And I'll defeat whoever's trying to kill you. She's so mad.
Akasaka remembered some strange things as he talked to me. He remembered the sad world where he lost his wife working on the kidnapping case in Hinamizawa. He forgot about me because of the despair and only remembered her afterwards. He regretted not being able to do anything for me.
The karate god, he's here. He's gonna beat up the mountain dogs.
That memory from a different world brought Akasaka here. Akasaka calls himself my ally. That means a lot to me since I never thought I'd have any allies at all. I could only bury my face in Akasaka's chest and cry.
I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything about you having such a young wife here in Hinamizawa when your wife's back in Tokyo. Nope, don't know a thing. Oh, Ishi-san. No, this isn't what you think.
Akasaka. 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 Oh. I complained that I couldn't defeat Takano alone. Hanyuu admonished me. She told me that if we put our strength together and all believed in the same thing, we could make a miracle happen. I didn't believe her. But after I talked to Irie, my friends, and Tomitake, things were getting better and better. And now Akasaka is here too. Was Akasaka supposed to be coming back? Or is this a miracle? Miracles do occur. This man never helped me even once before, yet he might be my most dependable ally. Now he's back, and he's even telling me that he's my ally no matter what.
See? It happens. Miracles really do occur.
You're right. We can make them happen. We keep putting our strength together. Do you think even more miracles will happen? Then, do you think we can make a miracle happen and defeat the curse of 1983?
Yes, because we can smash through June of 1983 only by putting everyone's strength together.
Hanyuu, who used to just be a bystander, is now persuading me. She's admonishing me for pretending to fight while I too was actually just a sulky bystander.
You okay, Rika-chan?
Yes, sorry about that. Seeing you brought back so many memories that I lost my cool. I wiped my tears and tried to hide my embarrassment. The Higurashi continued to cry. The Higurashi have been trying to remind me of something very important. I felt like they had taught me something important, and my eyes grew teary again.
I'm surprised. I didn't know you had such a wonderful boyfriend. Let me introduce myself. I'm Mamoru Akasaka. I work in Case Records Room 7 of the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department's Public Security Bureau. That's a really long title. Aren't the case record rooms in Tokyo's Public Safety Bureau a secret department on par with the CIRO? I believe it's a top secret investigation unit that some have criticized as being secret police.
No department would be foolish enough to slap secret onto the name for the secret division. Real secret divisions have boring names meant to fool the average person. That's true for Akasaka's department too. It's called a reference room, but they don't manage documents.
You seem to know quite a lot about us. I didn't think there'd be someone who knows the true identity of the Public Safety Department. Judging from the conversation you were having, I take it that you have your own reasons for that. Well, I'm into stuff like that. I just happen to know, that's all. Take-san, why don't you reveal your identity? I, for one, have always figured that you weren't just some traveling photographer. No, that's the truth. I just like taking pictures, that's all.
What a waste of time this conversation is. This is the final world, after all.
We love a conspiracy theorist, true.
Tomitake is the one who's connecting us in Tokyo, but he's my ally just the same.
Rika-chan!
Tomitake and Irie yelled simultaneously. To them, it's an extremely important secret, and if someone were to find out, they'd get eliminated by the mountain dogs. But it's okay now. There's no point of continuing to have suspicions and doubts. I've had enough of that.
So it's okay to just sentence them to death? Okay, Rika.
It's already obvious that Tomitake isn't telling the truth, but he's still trying to deny what I just said.
You're Director Irie, right? Thank you for taking care of me when I was injured 5 years ago. You really did a great job treating my wounds. Now I remember. No, don't mention it. I only did my job. The Irie Clinic is also known as the Irie Institute, right? Well, I mean... Come now, Dr. Irie. It's no use. We already heard it all earlier. You were saying that the Irie Institute's client is the Alphabet Project, right? I don't need to hear it from you. I already know everything. Up until just recently, Room 7 was investigating the men behind it and their means for funneling vast sums of money. The Alphabet Project was one of their tunnels.
Akasaka is holding the top-secret document he got his hands on a few days ago. This document records how certain people were given public funds from ministries and government offices for assisting with various projects. These masterminds claimed that they were attempting to revitalize Japan by using secret money and secret methods, but that was a lie even amongst themselves. Masterminds of these projects were making an enormous profit off of them. If that became public knowledge, Japan would be shaken to the core and the government would be overthrown. That was what they were told, and that was the reason why the investigation was discontinued.
First of all, I want to tell you one thing. The investigation by Room 7 has been shut down, and we're no longer working on the case. So I'm simply telling you what I found out in the course of the investigation. I'm on vacation here in Hinamizawa right now. I just want you to know that.
Tomitake is still trying to hide his identity, but Irie isn't. He must have made up his mind since Akasaka already knows about the Alphabet Project.
I already know that they've been using tunnels to move vast sums of money to a research institute in Shishibone known as the Irie Institute. Also, the Irie Institute has a different name here in parentheses, called the Irie Clinic. It also lists that the head of the Irie Institute is a lieutenant colonel from the SDF, Kyosuke Irie. Lieutenant Colonel? Dr. Irie? You're in the SDF? No, I'm not. Tomitake-san, let me tell them. Putting our clients aside, we aren't doing anything shady. Putting our clients aside, bro. Let's not hide anything. It'll only make Oishi-san more suspicious.
Irie is right. Oishi will help us. I'm starting to feel that even Oishi could be our ally. That would be incredible. Tomitake finally gave in and admitted everything. In his place, I explained to them the existence of Hinamizawa syndrome and the Irie Clinic that was established to research it.
Dissecting live people, not shady at all. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
What's special about myself? And finally, about the invisible conspiracy that revolves around it all. She was very surprised to hear all about this, but Akasaka told him to calm down, so he listened quietly. Since Akasaka belongs to a special unit, he wasn't too surprised. He kept nodding, saying that it's all very possible. This is working out great for me.
Just as you say, Rika-chan, there's a good chance that there are some people who are planning something like that. Oishi-san, what they're saying is well within the realm of the possible. This feels like the plot of a novel. But if it's true...
Compared to Akasaka, who has a flexible mind, she's having a hard time understanding such unrealistic stories. He probably needs at least 3 cigarettes before he can digest what he just heard. I think Takano is suspicious, but there's no proof. I was asking Tomitake to investigate so that I could confirm my suspicions.
Oishi-san, can you arrest and detain Takano on a separate charge? I may lose my retirement money for that, but it could be done, I guess.
There are some counterintelligence members from the Mountain Dogs at the police station. Even if you try it, Oishi-san, there will be pressure from within the department. I'll conduct an investigation on Takano-san, so if possible, can you leave it to me? I don't want anyone to get suspicious. You're right. If Takano's investigation can only be done by Tomitake-san's institution, then the police shouldn't bother him. Besides, I have a feeling that this thing is a lot bigger than we think. Oh, Ishi-san, I don't mean to sound rude, but maybe you should stay out of this.
Akasaka-san, what do you mean by that?
Just like you told me earlier, you're retiring this year, right? You've worked hard for many years. You're about to collect your pension. Money's important. You'll need it to pay off your house, and you need money for life after retirement. But this hill's too dangerous to climb. My instincts are telling me that at the end of it, this case will be classified as if it didn't take place at all. In other words,
unless I'm prepared to lose everything, I'd better pull myself out of this, right? That's what you're telling me, isn't it?
Yes, I know I'm not in a position to tell you that, but I've been involved in cases that are much different from regular police work, so what I'm saying now comes from experience.
Akasaka, are you doing okay?
Oishi was no fool. He was also an adult and smart in a real sense. If he only listened to his pride, he would yell at Akasaka for insulting him. But what Akasaka is saying is true. Oishi's pension is a big deal for him. People live far beyond their retirement. They still have 10 or even 20 years left after that. Their pension is the basis for that second life. A pension isn't ordinary money. It's very, very valuable. People receive their pension for working hard on rainy days and windy days, and even enduring the moments when their bosses give them a hard time. Even Oishi has mumbled on occasion that he's going to quit and look for a new job. Yet he endured, and quietly did the unreasonable work asked of him. He's endured far more work than his salary merited. He's worked like that for a very long time, and now he's finally about to retire. He's finally about to collect his long-awaited pension. It's not about the amount of money itself. It's about having a value placed on what you've done with your life. So if one were to cause a scandal, the punishment for that would be placed on his pension. One such deplorable event can erase Oishi's entire life as a policeman. That's not something that can be treated lightly. Akasaka is still young. Even if he loses his job, he'll be able to find a new one. But Oishi is too old. The repayment of his mortgage was planned around his pension. Oishi's a grown-up's grown-up, and that's why he can't do anything reckless. Akasaka knows that, and that's why he said that Oishi should back down. Oishi understands it too. So Akasaka had to ask him that tough question, in order to find out how strong Oishi's commitment was.
I've been awfully slow at paying back my loan, all because I wanted to hold on to some spending money, even though I would have saved on interest if I just paid a bit more early on. But I just wanted to gamble and drink. If I'd lived my life so I didn't have to depend on my pension in my old age, I could jump right onto this case.
Oishi's fists were trembling. That's how he sheds his tears.
But, I'm an officer until the moment I retire. No, even that doesn't matter. I promised in front of his grave. I promised that old man that I'd find out who killed him. I promised to stay a police officer until I arrested his murderer. In other words, me being a police officer isn't the issue here. What matters is that I keep my officer's spirit until I find that murderer, even if I'm fired.
The GOAT! Let's go! I respect his character so much, actually. That's crazy.
I afraid to be fired? Am I afraid to lose my pension? Yes, I am. It'll ruin my plans for the future. I need a lot of money for them. My dream is to live a leisurely life in Hokkaido, work on a vegetable garden, have fun in Susukino, and take up ballroom dancing lessons. But why am I afraid? Is my officer's spirit so weak as all that? I've dreamt of uncovering the truth behind the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, and the door to that truth I've sought for so long is right here in front of me.
I love it. He's so funny. The ballroom dancing, you do it, Oishi, you do it all.
Dang it! Why can't I just throw away my badge? Why can't I stop caring about what the police think? Dang it!
Nobody could say anything in response to Oishi. He's at a crossroads. the crossroads of a person who's worked so hard and so humbly for so long. How could the young people who know nothing about what he's had to go through say anything at all?
You are a friend of the departed construction site manager, right?
Yes. He was a friend, a brother, and a father to me.
Although it's only a formality, I'm the director of the Idia Institute. If the conspiracy that surrounds Rika-chan is exposed, I will be the one who takes the blame. Isn't that right, Tomitake-san?
His position exists for exactly that purpose. The Institute as a whole, Idia is there simply to cover for Takano's research. Tomitake, of course, knows about that, and even Idia has started to realize it. Even if Idia hasn't done anything wrong, he would have had to take the blame as the person in charge of the Institute. That was how every organization purged itself, by forcing someone to take the blame and reshuffling members. That's why leaders get more money.
When it's all over, I'll tell you everything about the series of mysterious deaths. I actually have an obligation to remain silent for the rest of my life, but you'll let me tell him, won't you, Tomitake-san?
I didn't hear anything.
As an honest man, Tomitake can't say yes, so pretending to ignore it was the best thing he could do.
Coward! No, that's not right. He's so sus, yeah. You could tell the brave Kuraudo Ooishi about it, the one who found the courage to help you. The cowardly Kuraudo Ooishi, the one who didn't want to lose his pension, doesn't deserve to hear the truth.
He faced a dilemma, even though the truth behind the mysterious deaths he sought so hard was right in front of him. He couldn't just accept it with his head held high. To understand what he's going through, one would have to live the life he did. His dilemma is very vast and very heavy. Young people couldn't possibly understand.
I have some time to think about this. I really do want to find the truth and put evil behind bars. Just need some time to gather my courage. Could you grant me that?
Why is he even asking? Nobody here will force him to make up his mind. Of course, I won't either. However, Ooishi needs someone's approval. Ooishi is still passionate about his work as a police officer, yet he isn't brave enough to take on this case. He wants somebody to forgive him for that. But nobody can do that, and nobody can stop Ooishi from crying.
Yes, I will grant you that time.
Hanyuu? How long has she been here? Hanyuu's arrived. I didn't see her come in. But then again, she's always around. Hanyuu is the guardian deity of Hinamizawa after all.
I'll grant you some time to make your decision. You've been honest, and you've been tough on yourself until today. Your life is not to be taken lightly, and that's why you're having such a hard time deciding. One should never be proud of careless decisions or brute courage. A careful judgment made by a person who's lived a worthy life like you, that's what's worth being proud of.
She might sound arrogant to us, but that was exactly what Ooishi needed to hear. Right. Who among us has the right to admonish Ooishi, the eldest one here? No one. No one should be able to. Nobody but one. The one who's been protecting humans for over 1,000 years. Hanyuu.
No matter if you decide calmly or courageously, I will praise you, as long as your decision was made well.
I've never met you before, but thank you. That makes me feel better. Thank you for giving a coward like me the time of day.
If it was me, I would have asked Ooishi to be my ally and asked him for help. But that wouldn't have reached his heart. Wanting help is my selfish request. I don't know anything about the life he lived, and that's why my words wouldn't reach him. But Hanyuu's words did. Hanyuu's never told me this, but I can tell she's been watching Ooishi since the day he was born. She's been watching all that he went through. That's why she could say that. And why what she said could reach him. Only Hanyuu can do that.
Dr. Irie, there's only one thing. Please tell me one thing.
Sure. Ask me anything.
I'm I've long suspected that the Sonozaki family was pulling the strings in the old man's murder case. Am I right to think that?
No, you're not. You're wrong. We can explain everything about the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa.
I see.
Oishi pretended to scratch his head. For so long, he pursued the case with that belief. Yet someone deeply involved was telling him he'd missed the mark, so he must be feeling at least some frustration. What Idia said wouldn't be enough, so I have to continue. Oishi, none of the curses of Oyashiro-sama were done in secret by the villagers. The Sonozaki family, the 3 families, and the other villagers, none of them are involved.
Actually, Satoko? Rika, you really can't be lying to him like that. Satoko's the one that pushed her parents.
There were only misunderstandings, misinterpretations, coincidences, tragedies, and comedies. The real identity of the curse of Oyashiro-sama is simply a series of misinterpretations. It only looks like the villagers are acting in secret.
Satoshi too, actually. That's 2 villagers right there, but like, okay. So, all that information I've gathered so far about the Sonozaki family is worthless.
The heads of the Sonozaki family have a secret precept. They must always act as if they command even natural disasters. The Sonozaki family knows nothing. Moreover, they're even afraid of the incidents that occur every year. But in order to maintain their dignity, they act as though they're the ones behind everything.
Oh my goodness. I see. It all makes sense now.
If that's true, then that Oreo woman... Dang it, she sure said some things to mislead me. You're telling me the truth, aren't you?
Yes, I am. It's written in the Furude family secret scrolls, too. Do you want to see? I have no idea what Oishi thinks is so funny. Nobody here can tell what's going through Oishi's mind, except the girl who's watched over human beings for over 1,000 years.
I can understand why you're so happy.
What? What do you mean?
The thought that you don't have to hate anyone anymore is a very, very welcome concept.
Oh no. The Sonozaki family is still a vile organization with its claws all over Shishibone City. That doesn't change. I've been stabbed by one of them before, you know. They may not be responsible for the mysterious deaths, but they're still my enemies. That's all still true, but I just feel happy.
None of us can tell if what Hanyuu is saying is right. Oishi believed the Sonozaki family was behind it all. Now that he's learned that they're not, I'm sure he feels like everything he stands for has been made meaningless. What if Hanyuu says that's not the case? To hate someone must be such a painful thing. I can't explain Oishi's laughter. All I could do is speculate. Oishi left with a cigarette in his mouth, saying that he wanted to cool off a little.
Won't get anywhere until we know if Takano-san is guilty or not, so we won't be able to act until after we hear the report from Tomitake-san. Don't know why Rika-chan is so suspicious of Takano-san. Personally, I feel bad for her, but what she says makes sense too. Rika-chan is an important person, and we can't let anyone suspicious get near her.
Tomitake is making it sound like he's going to prove Takano's innocence. I guess I can't blame him since he's in love with her. To be honest, I'm also hoping that Takano isn't guilty. Takano understands me, and she was one of my allies. I had a friendship with her. I've trusted her for over 100 years. But Hanyuu says that Takano's guilty. If something pops out when we poke her, then the question is, how well Tomitake can catch it. To get people to help me, I have to find proof of Takano's guilt. So I just have to trust Tomitake for now.
Tomitake-san, please be very careful. If she's guilty, then you'll be in danger too. Understand. I'll move to a new hotel without letting the Institute know. I should probably leave Hinamizawa immediately, but if Takano-san is guilty, that would backfire. That's pretty tough, yeah. It's a cardinal rule to act normally during a secret investigation. Would you prefer to stay with me? No, that's all right. It's fine. I'll be very careful. Rika-chan's safety is the priority here. What should we do?
What should we do? Hanyuu, what should we do?
Using Shogi as an example, you're like an unprotected king. As soon as Takano gets a hold of you, the game is over.
One of the most important rules in Shogi is to guard the king first, right?
Yes. Today's Thursday. Watanagashi is in 3 days. You need to hide somewhere. Nobody can find you until at least then.
Any idea where?
I think you should ask Mion.
That's true. The Sonozaki family's underground storehouse would be an ideal place to hide.
Satoko should go with you too.
If I leave Satoko behind, they'll question her about my whereabouts. She may be in danger too. That means I'll have to tell the truth to at least Satoko and Mion. That the comic plot we discussed wasn't just fiction. Still, I always seem to underestimate their reliability. It really is beyond my imagination.
Why don't you just tell Rena and Keiichi too then? And Shion too, I guess, but she hasn't shown up in a while.
I need to talk to them. I have a feeling they'll believe me. They're my steadfast allies, after all. We're going into hiding for a while. There's a perfect place for that at Mion's house.
Really be safe there?
Yes, it's like an air raid shelter. It has everything we need. We can easily stay there for about a month. The Sonozaki family's underground storehouse has every basic necessity, in case someone actually had to live there due to some complication or another.
We gotta get the whole gang together? Exactly! They can't win if they're separated.
Mion's mentioned before that it's like a unique vacation house. I don't know how you can call a place with a torture room a vacation house, though.
Don't know how long my investigation into Takano-san will take, but as soon as I find something out, I'll call Mion-chan's house. Is that okay?
That works fine.
To tell you the truth, the Mountain Dogs have a bug on Rika-chan's home phone for security reasons, so that works better either way.
Beep. So somebody's been listening to all my personal conversations?
No, it's set up so that they can tune in, but that doesn't mean they're listening to every normal conversation. They only do it when they have a security drill. That happens a few times a year. I bet my phone at the clinic is being wiretapped too, huh? Well, yes. That's because of the purpose of the facility, though, please understand. Excuse me, how do they actually do that? Rika-chan's landline branches off. Do you remember the little shack behind the shrine? The line leads into there, which is where they wiretap it. Usually there's no one there, but once the Mountain Dogs receive orders to guard her, there will be 2 agents recording conversations in there all the time. Of course, they don't usually record anything. Is there a security drill scheduled in the near future? Or maybe orders to guard her? Security drills take place in January, April, July, and October, so there's no drill this month. Orders to guard her are given only when they anticipate an emergency, but they haven't been given even once since the Institute was established. Who gives those orders? The director does, which is me, but Takano-san is a surrogate director, so she can send out orders too. If Takano really is the person who wants to kill Rika-chan, then she'll use the Mountain Dogs to spy on her. That's very possible. In other words, if people start to go in and out of that shack, it means Takano's made her move. So we could take that as proof that the tensions are building around Rika-chan, right? I don't know if that would prove that Takano-san is behind it, but we can take it as a sign that danger is approaching. Indeed. Regardless of whether Takano is guilty or not, that's what it means. As long as we keep our eyes on the shack, Rika-chan will stay safe and secure. That's a great idea.
There's one problem, Rika. If there are no lights on in the house at night, it'll be obvious to everyone that nobody's home. Takano doesn't even have to wiretap your phone. As soon as she sees the house, she'll realize you're skipping school and ran away.
Right. And that puts Tomitake, who's investigating Takano, in a tight spot. We'll have to think of something to counteract that.
So we're dealing with having to observe the wiretapping shack like Akasaka was saying earlier. Then there's the problem with having to keep the lights on at your house. It's also a fact that it's better for Akasaka to stay in the village. If I put all three together and mix them up, I get... Oh! I have an idea.
Oh no. You aren't thinking about letting Akasaka stay at my house, are you? No. Absolutely not. My house is such a mess. It smells and it's filthy. I can't let Akasaka stay in there. No.
Oh! Akasaka's staying over. Oh!
I said no. No.
Why are you making such a fuss, Rika-chan?
Meep. I lost my cool there for a moment. Meep. Jeez. Just because Hanyuu's insisting, okay? Oh.
Her wine stash will be found. Oh no, she's gonna get in trouble. That's crazy. It's true that if Rika-chan's house ends up empty, there won't be any lights on at night, and leaving them on would be even more suspicious.
Akasaka? Meep. What do you think of staying at my house while I'm gone?
See, that's a great idea. As long as it's okay with you, Rika-chan, let's do that.
Akasaka seems to think it's a pretty good idea. Am I selfish for wanting him to get a little embarrassed about staying at my house? I should be ashamed of myself. Ow.
Is that Hanyuu or Rika? Surely that was Rika.
Everything is set. Tomitake is going to get in touch with his colleagues in Tokyo and start an investigation on Takano. That's all. That's all we can do from our end. Idia is going to lead his normal life. To act normally after something like this will probably be pretty difficult, but there really isn't anything else for him to do right now. Takano is sly. She'll never let Idia ruin her plans. Actually, Idia only comes into the picture after Takano's been exposed. Oishi didn't say he would help, but he said he wouldn't interfere with us. In fact, there are some people with ties to the mountain dogs at the police department too. It's probably best if Oishi acts normally like Idia is. I'm going to tell Satoko the truth and hide at Mion's house for a while starting today. I don't know how long I'll have to hide, but it'll be at least until something happens. Akasaka's going to stay at my house and make it look like I'm home sick. If something happens, coming all the way from Okinomiya would take too long. It feels much better to have him stay in the village. Everything will begin only once Tomitake finds out something. Idia says he hopes things will get moving soon, but I don't think we need to worry about that. They'll try to kill Tomitake on the night of Watanagashi, on Sunday, 2 days from today. That has never changed in many worlds, so that's definitely their plan. In other words, even if Tomitake doesn't find anything, the wheels will start turning in 2 days. I'd warned Tomitake again to be extremely careful, but still, if I still get killed, I'll curse your family for 7 generations after I die.
He won't have a family for 7 generations because he'll be dead first. Okay.
It's already getting dark. Everyone went home except for Akasaka. I'm still thinking about how to tell Satoko about Akasaka and also about what's to come.
Worrying about it won't solve anything. Rika, you have a bad habit of underestimating your friends.
But how could she believe that what we talked about at school today is actually real? How could she believe me when I tell her that her life is in danger? In addition, I'm bringing home this guy she's never met before.
Don't you think Satoko will believe you?
I don't know, but it's possible that she won't.
Oh, so Satoko isn't your friend, is she?
What? What Hanyuu just said startled me. It was kind of a scary thing to hear, even though she said it while wearing her usual warm smile.
I know Satoko's one of us. I think she'll believe you and become your ally against Takano. But you're saying that you can't trust her. That's like saying Satoko isn't your friend. If she isn't even your friend, then why waste your time telling her about it? Oh. Let's just leave Satoko behind and go to Mion's house by ourselves. Just the 2 of us.
What are you saying? That's nonsense. Satoko's my best friend and...
If you don't think it's worth telling her the truth, then that's it. You just think a best friend is like a stray cat that you feed every day. I'm actually surprised to learn that you've been letting Satoko live with you when you think of her like that.
I didn't say that. Satoko's my best friend. My very best. Yeah, she's even closer to me than you are.
But you don't believe that she will believe. It's the same as spouting your complaints at a stray cat that you feed every day. You know the cat can't do anything, and knowing that, you still complain to her, and that's all your relationship is. Oh, poor Satoko. She believes you're her best friend, but you don't feel the same way. Oh.
Darn you! I tried to slap Hanyuu, but I couldn't touch her. My hand went through her cheek and hit only the air. I can't believe she made herself incorporeal again. Hanyuu disappeared, saying ow ow in a teasing manner. I'm upset, but I can totally understand what she was getting at.
Coward! She ran!
Will your roommate agree?
I'll make her agree. Satoko has nothing to do with this conspiracy, but since she lives with me, she's going to end up involved anyway. For Satoko's sake, I have to explain this to her.
Should I wait outside?
No, I think it'll be better to have you with us so she doesn't think it's a joke. If I can't explain it properly, can you help?
Sure, I will.
Went up to the second floor with Akasaka. To be honest, I couldn't even imagine how to start bringing it up. But even Hanyuu made fun of me. Can't hesitate. I made up my mind and walked into the room. Was surprised. My messy room is all cleaned up. Satoko's packing her pajamas and towels into her duffel bag. It's as if she's going on a camping trip. Satoko? Mom? Here, I got your luggage ready too. We could just borrow toothbrushes and towels from Mion-san, you know. Besides, we can't let some strange man stay in a messy room either. This is why I always tell you to tidy things up around here. I blinked in surprise. I don't understand why Satoko already knows what's going on.
She's going with her, let's go.
If she saw me, Irie, and Tomitake talking behind the shrine with Oishi and a strange man, she'd be sure to get curious. Satoko must have overheard our conversation. Not only that, she packed our luggage and cleaned our room, which means she already knows Akasaka's going to stay in this house. She must have come home in a hurry to get things done. So it wasn't just a storyline for some comic, was it? Meep. You know, that's what I don't like about you, Rika. Have I ever doubted you before? I always thought that I was your best friend, that you would count on me before anyone else. I'm sorry. Satoko doesn't seem that angry. Rather, she seems shocked that what we talked about at school is real. She isn't really that upset. But this is exactly what Hanyuu said. I thought Satoko was my best friend, yet I couldn't trust her completely. Having realized that, I apologized. Satoko turned around as if to tell me there's no time for apologies. I think she accepted it. As the proof of that, she's getting things ready to go to Mion's house. Thank you, Satoko. Akasaka-san, is it? I don't know how you and Rika know each other, but if you're Rika's ally, then you're mine too. You may call me Satoko Hojo.
Nice to meet you. I'm Akasaka. The conspiracy surrounding Rika-chan runs pretty deep, and it's not easy to explain. She was afraid that you'd reject her after she confessed to everyone, so please try to understand how she felt too.
Of course I understand. I'm Rika's best friend, you know. She was thinking that I didn't believe her. Who would? I can understand why she'd be afraid.
You're really mature, Satoko-chan. Rika-chan is lucky to have you as her best friend. I'm pretty envious of her.
Satoko took Akasaka around the house and explained everything. She let him know that the switch for the hot water heater sticks a little, and that if the picture on the TV gets messed up, he needs to tap on it. She even told him about all the traps she set around the shrine, using a secret map of hers. Akasaka listened to her dead seriously. Upon seeing them talk, I couldn't help but smile. Hanyuu also smiled while watching us, but it felt like she was saying, "I told you so." I'm going to pretend that I don't notice her. If our contrarian Satoko believed me this easily, then our simple-minded Mion will believe us even more easily. Keiichi doesn't even know how to doubt people, and Rena has sharp instincts, so she'll believe me too. So everyone is going to believe me, huh? Hanyuu didn't reply, but she smiled as if she's happy to see that I grew a little. Alright, there's plenty of things in the refrigerator. Rika! You're asking him to house sit, so why don't you make dinner for him tonight? Besides, just to be safe, perhaps we should go over to Mion-san's house a little later.
Oh, don't worry. I can handle that myself.
Oh, this is a chance to serve him your homemade food, Rika. Oh. You really are annoying today. Oh, right, Satoko. We have to make something good, huh? I have an idea. Can you bring out the large kimchi bottle from the refrigerator? No, not that one. The one that says death penalty, not the one that says punishment. Let's make kimchi fried rice today. Akasaka, do you like spicy food?
Oh, yes. I love spicy things.
Oh!
Revenge!
The cream puffs in the refrigerator have expired, so let's throw them away. What a waste. I heard they're from a famous shop over in Gogura. Oh! The ow-ows are awfully loud today. Maybe a stray dog's howling somewhere. Night is falling on the 16th of June. The pieces are lining up on the final game board one after another. No, pieces isn't the right word to call them. Night is falling on the 16th of June. We're gaining reliable allies for this final challenge. Our first key, Tomitake, will be killed in 3 days. Fate is going to change before that point.
I forget he dies. He dies every single time. Oh my gosh. Okay. My voice is about to give out, so unfortunately, we will not be ending it today. I did not expect this to be this long. Loser indeed. He's weak. Too weak to Takano specifically.